Welcome to LAWhammer, take 3!
Sound back, we're good.
Yes! Yeah, so I said a whole bunch of really clever things earlier. It was the best intro that I have possibly ever done in my life. Sadly, you missed all of that. You're going to have to do with the makeshift, oh my god, everything's going wrong this week intro. So later on, when this video is cut and put up on YouTube, none of this will have happened.
But what about this explanation?
Shh, 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 shh. Don't ruin it. It's my moment.
What if we keep referring to it?
You're ruining it! So, this week here at LAWhammer has been a week from hell. It started off with a burst pipe. It wasn't just a burst pipe though, it was a burst boiling water pipe. It literally cooked my living room. We had water this deep in my cavity, flooding down through the entirety. Don't even start with the cavity. Okay, content warning, this is a grown-ass stream for grown-ass adults with water in their cavities. So, water came piling down through my living room and it has put me in a slightly discombobulated state. Following on from that, as if matters couldn't be worse here in the house, Erin, our producer, caught COVID.
Get well soon.
Get well soon, Erin. Get well soon. Get well soon. So sadly, she caught COVID, and that means that she's not sitting in production corner. We have our intern in production corner, and it's going to be super smooth this evening without a single issue.
No pressure.
Right, so we've got a couple of things to say beyond that. One of the great joys of role-playing for me is stress relief. I tend to, and we're not talking about my cavities now, I tend to think of role-playing, at least for me, as what I like to do at the end of a relatively tough week. I can kick back with my friends and really enjoy myself, and that's what today's all going to be about. I am, however... Okay, yeah, friends. I will drop out a couple of warnings. Number one, we're aware of the sound issues. We tried to fix it during the week, but this whole flood thing got in the way of me spending as much time on that as I would have liked. So there will be echoes through the course of this one. They'll hopefully be removed for next week. Also, our high initiative cam, so that's the lovely people over on this side, they're on a slightly different resolution because we tried to fix the paling off issue. It's not perfect yet. We will have that hopefully fixed for next week. So... that all said, what are we doing today? Well, as you're aware, last episode our party was heading off towards Altdorf. But before, moving things. But before we head into what's coming next, we're going to have a little mini game running through the course of this one. Because I do like a mini game. You're going to find through the course of our long adventures to try and mix things up, keep things interesting, and to also answer things that you might have out there. We will drop in mini games and little things so that the players have got extra things to think about. Because in the end, this is a game. We're here to have fun. But we're also here to try and make sure that you all understand what's going on, because our characters have clearly gone through quite a lot of adventures already. So there is a mini game. And the mini game is each of them have been given one fact about their character's background that they have to drop during the stream. Nice and easy, not a problem. Just one fact. Some of the facts might be a bit on the obscure side, so good luck trying to get them out. But there's the game aspect to it. It's not just saying it. They've got to do it in such a fashion that no one else around the table realises that they're currently dropping the fact. Because there's going to be an XP reward at the end of this one, because it's quite literally a game. We haven't discussed XP yet, experience points, and how that can help develop your character and make it better. It's the same for pretty much all roleplay games. If you've ever played any of these games, you'll know largely what we're talking about. You get extra points, you make your character better with them. And they're going to get themselves a little boost of XP points if at the end of this session, when we switch the cameras off, and then switch them back on again to record their attempts to figure out what everybody else was saying, we'll pop that up as a video next week. If they can guess what everyone else's ones are, they get 10 XP each for each one they guess. So if Andy guessed everybody else's, he gets 50 XP. Well done, Andy, you're a genius. Absolutely. If Ed, by comparison, guessed none of them, he gets 0 XP.
As an example.
Just as an example.
It's not happened before.
Yeah, 100%. So that's the guess out. Now, on your side, for them getting the fact out, for every person that doesn't guess their fact, they get 10 XP. So if Andy guessed them all, and no one guessed his one, he'd get 100 XP.
King of the world!
King of the world! Absolutely. And if Ed, everybody guessed Ed's, and Ed, sadly, guessed no one else's, he would get 0 XP. Not only that, we're also going to have one extra bonus one. And that's that. Once the session's all over, I'm going to put up a poll of all the facts that I've seen dropped in the comments when I go check the comments on Twitch later that everybody's noticed, I'm going to drop out a poll for each one of the PCs. And if most of the people out there in Discord land guess correctly, the PC gets no bonus XP points.
They'll rewatch it.
I will find.
But if the poll doesn't guess them correctly, they'll get 100 XP. Which, for those of you in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay land, you'll know that's quite a haul. Right, so that's our little mini game for the evening. Cut a long story short, it is they're all, during the course of this stream, going to try and squeeze in a fact about their character's history, which means it's quite likely they might try and squeeze in 4 or 5 facts about their character's history, just to, you know, put you off the scent. And with that, I think we are ready to go with, I think it's episode 2. The City of Sigmar. And Altdorf, capital of the Empire, birthplace of Sigmar, the first emperor, and also now patron deity to not just Altdorf and the Reichland and the entirety of the Empire itself, but all of its people. Altdorf, a city of not just teeming thousands, but many think hundreds of thousands, some ambitious Sigmarites even claim millions. But it's a city at war with itself. On one hand, it is the centre of magic in the old world. The 8 colleges of magic teach wizards how to stave off the worst that the Empire has to face. And on the other side, the cult of Sigmar believes they're witches that are doing nothing more than using the power of chaos. They don't get on. Altdorf, a city of islands, of bridges, of great white walls and terracotta roofs with tall shimmering towers rising above them, the tallest of which are the colleges of magic themselves, and they can be seen for miles around. Altdorf, a city surrounded by marshes, make it one of the most difficult cities to besiege in the Empire. Altdorf, the city where 6 bold adventurers, glorious heroes, let us say, are heading towards on the back of a coach. They have been there travelling for 2 days now. Time to contemplate everything that occurred and time to consolidate their views as to the mutants that they faced on the road. And the fact that they're going back to a place where at least one of them is wanted. Gerhard of House Jungfreud. Gerhard of House Jungfreud. 3 months ago, his ancestral lands were seized by the Emperor and his entire family were declared, if not outlaw, then certainly not friendly. And everybody has been after any member of the household that may be wandering free, largely to make them a political prisoner. The Emperor wants them to get leverage over the family. Everybody else wants them to get leverage over that family or the Emperor. And one of that family is currently curled up at the corner of a coach, contemplating his future as he heads towards Altdorf. As we part the curtains, the coach is moving at speed, a 4 seasons coach. It's well built. It doesn't feel like the horses are just going to tear off into the woods at any moment and leave you behind. On either side, marshes extend for miles, the Riker Flats. You are the only ones atop the coach. Your good pal, Lucas, is currently down below because you paid for his passage, because you're nice. He has gotten better, but he's still suffering significantly and is looking forward to a proper bed in a proper place like Altdorf. Also in the coach is the good lady, and we pause, von Strudeldorf, which we believe may not be as certain as you, see the last stream for more on that one. She has her bodyguard who is down there with her, and her maid is also down in there as well. And they've all been chit-chatting away down in the bottom of the coach. This is largely by design of Gerhardt, who has told his good manservant, let's call him that, his counsellor, multiple times to, without any jokes, pump her for information.
Definitely didn't use those words.
No, I don't think he did. Atop the coach, you're aware that by this evening you will be in Altdorf. For some of you, this is the first time you've ever been there. For others, you've been there multiple times. Well, in fact, for one of you, it's the first time you've ever been there. For everyone else, this is a return to, if not a home, most certainly somewhere that you've resided for a long period of time and perhaps you never want to return to ever again. But we're here. And there is one large pressing concern. And that is, how exactly are you going to pass through those gates without being spotted? How exactly are we going to handle ourselves when we're in the city? You've been mulling it these past 2 days, but you've yet to decide whether, for example, you're going to waltz in as Gerhardt of House Jungfreud, or perhaps use a more recently acquired nom de plume.
Right, okay, so I know that we've had this conversation before. I honestly don't understand how you can just shovel it down, no real issues. It's honestly absolute dross. And you say, oh, put hairs on your chest and it'll make you strong. Have you tasted this stew? Every single one. And they're not exactly sort of aligned to the same flavouring, so you can't get used to it, because each inn you go to, it's just something else, something different, and this one's like, oh, this one's been going for 30 years. That's not a good claim for food.
It's tradition, my
Beg
lord.
to differ.
So 40 years is better for food?
Yeah.
What? Birdie, look,
I don't understand it either.
okay, good,
I'm with
good,
you on this
right, two,
It's like wine, my lord. Like
Yeah.
the longer, the better it tastes.
okay, no, it's not like
Would
wine.
you have wine that was a week old?
Absolutely
No,
not.
you would turn your nose up at it.
I do.
Yeah, so why not have stew that's a month going, or even a year?
And as you will know, my lord, wine is something of an acquired taste. One must refine one's palate. All it is that your stew palate is yet to be refined. That's
Right.
You're just not a connoisseur yet.
It will come. Don't worry. Don't feel self-conscious about it, my lord.
Well, no, I do now, actually. If I'm completely honest, I feel like maybe it's something that I should look into. More stew. Should I just spit it out more often? No, that's it. Get the flavours in the mouth and just...
Gurgle it.
Hold it in the
Gurgle.
mouth for longer. Roll it around the roof of the
Don't think that's possible. It's kind of like cement. Cement probably doesn't exist in this world, but, you know. Mud.
Cement does, but it's not a word that you're going to be particularly well adverse
Right,
with. Up ahead, you can see one of the great towers that stand over the causeways that go across the marshes. There are a fanning number of causeways that lead from the capital that connect through to the main road arteries of the empire. And it's these causeways that ensure that Altdorf is particularly difficult to besiege, because they're the only safe way across the marshes. And they are very well protected as on either end of each one of the causeways. And in some cases, it's multiple causeways. A long causeway, well protected, a bit of rise out the marsh, and then back down into marsh again. Meaning that any would-be besieger has several attack fronts to pass through before they even reach the walls of the city itself. You are thumping through one of the great arched gateways at the end of one of the causeways as you move into Barmans. The land and the difference could hardly be more stark, barring one detail, the mist. It still hangs over everything. Slightly further south from where we were before, the frosts have entirely gone, and for all that we're still early in the year, there's already folk out on the farmland preparing for the next seasons. More busy, though, is the road itself. And with every passing mile, the road will get busier. More coaches, more horsemen, more travellers, and even at this later hour, everybody is making their way to or from Altdorf. Over the course of the next, well, you're not quite sure how long it's going to take you to get there, but you will pass multiple villages and towns, all in a very short distance before you reach the White Walls themselves. Altdorf and its surrounding land are significant in terms of their population. Far bigger in the surrounding land than it is possibly inside the city itself, protected by the great circling marshes, and then the great flows of the Reich and the Talabek rivers that split up and pass through multiple channels around and through the city itself. And you can actually smell something that doesn't smell fetid. It smells like clean land for the first time in almost 2 hours.
That's a nice change. I have 2 questions. One,
Yes.
what did we do with the body from last time? What did...
The body was taken away by the road wardens that you met afterwards, that included the good old Sergeant Pfister, who had met multiple times on the road. Sergeant Pfister literally did not care.
Okay, good.
He didn't even notice that there was anything close to a similarity between the two. And there was a question I'll have in return. Does anyone seed the idea that this could be Gerhard? As in, it could be Gerhard himself, and that they think they may have uncovered the corpse of the young lord.
We debated that last week.
Indeed, which is why I'm asking if anyone seeded it in with the good watchman.
I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah?
Just to muddy the waters.
Yeah,
a little
because-
bit. Might be.
Because even if people then come back and say, well, Almenreth will say, even if he's then challenged at a later date, there will always be people who can vouch for you. Family,
Well-
students you went to university with.
Let's pause and take a moment to reconsider exactly where we are. Reframe it. We're in the forest 2 days ago.
Okay.
And we're all gathered together, and there's the large figure of Sergeant Pfister. His name's not Pfister, it's Flaster, but you made your joke previously and find it difficult to get away from. And he's looking it down with an expression which could be arguably summed up with,
Sorry.
he's got along with him 4 other road wardens, and it's clear they have only one thing in mind, and that's getting away from this potential site of trouble as fast as possible. There's better things for them to be doing. For example, staying at a nice warm inn. But trouble on the road and mutants, this has to be resolved. And it's not the first time you've encountered him in the back roads of Delbernhof. You just get into trouble, you lot. You're all gathered together, and the debate is being had. Lucas is there too. He has his arms folded, and he also has an opinion. I don't know. It could bring good and bad.
Well, this is exactly what I was saying. So, theoretically, actually, 1 second, Sergeant. I'm just gonna.
The sergeant's off by himself. I mean,
Oh,
you're, right,
good.
you're gathered as a small party
Wonderful.
to decide.
Excellent. Good to know. So obviously, I look like I'm dead, but not me, as you can see, for I am very much alive. I think I am who I am, though, because this does throw a bit of an existential sort of hammer in.
Expediency.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. So good, theoretically, because we can say Gerhard, who I am not, died on the road.
It just takes the heat off you, and furthermore, it seeds more rumour and suggestion and throws things up in the air into question. And that, being unpredictable, is never a bad thing.
It is interesting that this Gerhard also had a fake, persona.
Yes.
How do we know he had a false persona?
He had a thing.
Well, that proves he said who he said he was.
Well, no, it proves that he had a. Well, do you think he was travelling as Gerhard, but then also travelling as a
I don't
caster?
I don't think it matters.
No, anyway,
I think we should suggest that it's Gerhard of House Jungfrau.
Do you have any identifying markers that you can provide them with? Because
of myself?
yes, because he doesn't have a scar like you do, but the scar's a recent acquire. You didn't have it before you left Altdorf, so he looks more like you than you do now.
A weird mole.
A weird mole?
Yeah.
No, I was thinking more like a ring or something that you would have, perhaps
do
a
have-
favoured handkerchief.
Well, they're all favoured. I do have something though, Lucas. I'm a little loath to give it up, but it would.
What is it?
It is my my green velvet cloak.
Perfect. Mistress Yume, you look like you might be someone who would be likely to pilfer such a cloak. I would suggest that we have impressed upon you the unwise course that you have taken regarding the pilfering of said cloak, and that you then very carefully and ceremoniously dump it in the lap of the good fellow up there. And that will worry him. He'll immediately know it's a noble, because only the nobles wear green velvet cloaks in Altdorf. Which means he was going to be more upset probably, but then shrug.
Obviously. And the good thing is obviously it has my house crest up on it. The stag.
Yeah.
Earring. As you can see, I don't know why I'm doing this. You can see it. So it cannot be confused at all.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
And as you make your way on the coach through the villages and the towns surrounding Altdorf, you think back, was it wise? Well, you get your first real awareness of this when the coach slows down to a halt to stop at a coaching inn for the horses to be swapped for the very last leg, the last hour and a half before they eventually arrive at the city itself. And for the first time, you've got newspapers, broadsheets from the capital.
Oh, excellent.
And you're dead. It's on page 4. There's only 6 pages. The Altdorf Spieler.
Gosh.
I'm sorry, my lord.
Yeah. Page 1, though. Page 1. You can understand. It says the words mutant edict. What it actually says inside is actually shocking. The Emperor has passed a universal law of suffrage on all mutants, making them legal. All legal. Apparently, according to said article, the cult of Sigmar is up in arms. But they couldn't find anyone, according to said journalist, willing to speak from the High Temple. So they went scurrying around from temple to temple to temple until eventually they found a lowly priest who was willing to say that perhaps the Emperor had been misheard. They're in a bit of a theological conundrum, and you know why. The Emperor is the living embodiment of Sigmar. In many respects, he's not the Grand Theogenist. He's the mouthpiece for Sigmar. But he's the embodiment. He's the figurehead, so to speak. He sits in Sigmar's throne. And he's saying mutants are legal?
Alamenowith will wrap her scarf more tightly around her face and say in hushed tones, "It's probably because he's a mutant now."
Does that mean that we can't kill mutants anymore? Is that illegal now?
Well, reading into it, does anyone have lower law?
Or not.
I have schemer.
Schemer, then if you wish, you can do yourself a lower politics roll. If you wish to activate your talent, and I will give you an answer. In fact, I'll roll your lower politics roll. Assuming you want to use it.
Sure.
Schemer allows you to ask me one question, and I will accurately answer according to what your role is. So what's your question concerning politics? So while she's deciding that one, Schemer's quite a fun, gamey talent, because it gives you access to information that you might not otherwise be able to know as a player, but the GM has, and possibly the player would be able to divine. And let's see if what she's attempting to divine. You can help her if you want.
Well, I mean, Liverpool, when she asked that question, we'd immediately answer why. I think those are two separate things, aren't they? Does it mean that we can't kill mutants? Well, no. But does it mean that it would be illegal? Well, yes.
I feel that killing mutants has always been illegal. You can't just murder people.
Actually, that's not strictly true. You probably shouldn't, but you can.
It's been all that we've been taught in the Bright College was to kill the enemy, and the enemy of the Empire has been mutants forever, as far as I can remember.
I mean, you combine this with what happened in Ubersreich. I mean, it sounds like the Emperor's lost his mind.
Gonna make
Or he's
what?
being badly advised.
Or he's become a mutant and is suddenly faced with the fact that, lo and behold, it just makes him the same man he was yesterday.
I'll thank you not to spread such heresy.
It's not heresy, it's the Emperor's word. Mutants are perfectly fine now.
But it didn't say he is a mutant, and that's what you just said.
Well, you all are, remember?
So that's heresy if you say that.
Well, I mean, yes, you've always thought that humans are all mutants anyway. You've always said that.
Well, you are a people who are touched by... You're a very adaptable people.
Damning goes with fake praise there.
So, your
I
question.
feel.
I will ask, out of all the advisors and stuff that the Emperor has, who would be the most, pro this or against it? Like, how
Right.
would that...
Okay, so
play out?
I'll give you no one.
Cool.
Literally no one that you can think of would suggest that this is a good idea. And the important word here, though, to answer much of what they're discussing, is the word edict. This isn't law. The Emperor has made an edict, and he expects it to be ratified. The chance of it being ratified in the Volkshalle, which is the great hall where all the nobles from the Empire have a vote on the changes to the Empire, is almost none. There is no chance that all the gathered nobles are going to say, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely spot on. I think mutants are fine. That's never going to pass. It does not look good at all for the Emperor and his decisions that he's making.
So it sounds more like a way to discredit the opinion of the Emperor rather than actual bid for changing something.
Very possibly, yes.
Okay.
It doesn't make him look good.
Well, the good news is that we won't get, imprisoned for what we did a few days ago.
Don't know what you're talking about. We were never there.
True.
Now I'm dead.
Yes.
Page 4.
No. Gerhard is dead.
Very good. Yes, Carl is not dead. That's me. Remember? Yes.
Yeah, you know, remember
That's
that.
Good.
But what does this mean now for you in Altdorf? What's there?
So good question. A few things. Number one. Well, actually, if anything, it strengthens my position to show the fact, especially in the Volkshalle.
Volkshalle.
Folks?
Or Foxhalle if you prefer.
Don't understand the difference between those two words, Andy. You said exactly the same ones.
Foxhalle will do just fine.
Volkshalle.
Volks?
Volks. There's an L. Volkshalle. Thank you.
Spelled with a V as well.
Yeah, I'm not good with
Like
Germanic
Volkswagen.
stuff. Oh, thank you.
Volkshalle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. Wunderbar, thank you. Yes, so it means that as we've said, discredits the Emperor somewhat. And if anything, after his...
Suddenly there's a interruption as a rotund woman bursts into the drinking hall where you're all sitting in the corner and says, "Grub's up!"
Right.
Apparently Grub's up.
Okay, thank you.
Nice.
Hope it's stew.
Dinner time.
Yeah.
Oh, I can
It
see
isn't
that.
stew.
Yeah.
Aw.
I'm sorry, it's not stew. It's beef. And vegetables.
Oh!
Quite.
In a broth.
And
Blended.
and gravy that you can pour on top and not just mix it up with. Actual proper food. Von Strudeldorf is there, and she's there with her bodyguard already, and her maid, who's sitting behind, apparently is not going to be eating along with everyone else. As she nods as you all come in, you've barely spoken a word to her the entire length of time. Lucas nods as he comes in. Food is served.
Stew. Some assembly.
You got yourself, says your server, about quarter bell, then the coach is off, so get it down, ya. They're charming. Says, we shall take as long as we take.
It's a deconstructed stew.
Oh, everything's ruined in Altdorf.
Everything's fantastic. This can be
I don't
better.
know why will just perch on the back of a chair.
On the back of it.
Yeah.
Or standing on the that'll be a balancing act. You'll have to roll if you're sitting on the back. If you're sitting on the chair perched up.
Yeah,
Fine.
you perched up on the chair.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
leaning against
Yeah.
the back and look at the beef.
It's definitely cooked. Are you partaking?
Are you not wanting your beef? I don't know.
She'll take a small bite
It's definitely tough.
and push it away.
Absolutely
I
not.
think Birdie and Liverpool have longer arms. I suspect we'll be better able to.
Slight fight, a bit of a tear.
We can share, my lords. We're stronger together. There's enough for all of us.
Yeah, it's very stronger together. I know when theology is being dressed up as I want your food.
Excuse me, could you perhaps be a little more quiet? I am trying to eat. Please, quiet. I am trying to eat.
Did she ever say thank you to us?
Highly unlikely.
For saying,
Oh.
no, we're going to ignore her.
Elemental will take out her flute and say, "Would you like an air?" Well,
Yes.
I shall play a tune from Nuln, I think, from my time there, when I worked in an establishment known as, what was it called? The Hoops of Gold, I think.
Always on about no. Jeez.
Obsessed.
And she'll play her flute.
The bodyguard speaks up and goes, brass hole.
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Brass hole.
She's playing her flute. Look, was it?
Not the golden hoop. Brass hole.
Matter of
Effective, really.
That's it. I was going to say, it's a little rude. You calling a brass on?
Not long after, you're making your way to the city itself on the back of the coach again.
I would like to note that Elric is not in any rush to go back, so he is always slowly going behind everyone.
Dragging.
Yeah,
Kicking
it's like he's being
stones.
walked to the gibbet.
Gerhardt is skipping.
Back to civilization.
Exactly.
As the coach makes its way, the road grows busier, until eventually you can see in the distance the white walls of Altdorf itself. At a distance, they're white. Up close, you all know, bar one, that they're much less white than they appear. Along the entire length of the walls, you can see weaponry of various types pointing out. Cannons, et al. This is one of the primary gates into Altdorf, the Wolf Gate. Incredibly elaborate, carved with wolves up its entire length, in reference and respect, depending upon the time of year, to Middenheim to the north. The gate is pointed in the direction of that city. The queue to get in is well over 2,000 or 3,000 long. And they're gathered, the collected mass of mostly humanity. But amongst them, there's a gaggle of halflings over there, excitedly chattering. One very grumpy looking dwarf over there with his arms folded, clearly disappointed to be the one that has to wait in the queue. He refuses to push his way through, and anyone that tries to go past him, he puts his arms up as you're passing by. Back! He's not going to lose his pace, but he's not going to push forward either. You don't need to worry about that. You're part of a legitimate coaching line. It just drives straight past them and goes over to the same gate that is used by the noble houses. It's used by the colleges of magic. It is used by, indeed, anyone that has a right to pass through the gates at either low or no toll. And the coach drives up. The coachman at the front just leans over, waves, and he just drives straight through. Everyone else has tolls to pay. Your toll is included in your ticket price.
Ticket price.
They're not even checked. There's no attempt to check if they're smuggling or doing anything different. I imagine that immediately makes some of you go, oh.
That immediately lends credence to the theory that she's a hat smuggler. Just saying. Just saying.
Spot on. And then you're through, and the tone instantly changes from the hubbub of folk trying to get in to the high walls of the city itself. There's an open square that you clatter across until you're into a tight street. And this is a tight, winding street. Folk have to get out of the way of the coach. It takes the coach and about enough for a person or two on either side, and the roofs meet above. There is no natural light down here. It's just all torches down the entire length, just waiting for a fire or a happy wizard to pass by and draw the actuary from it.
Awful.
And and the life and the smells and the fact that you happen to be on the open top is just marvellous. This is not the sort of place where they give a handy warning for when they're throwing the shit out their windows. They just do it. But generally at a particular time, for those of you who don't live in Altdorf, you're never quite sure when that is. For those of you who do, it's time to duck down at approximately the 6th bell as everyone just starts lobbing crap out their windows. It spreads out the road into almost a highway, enough space for 2 coaches to make their way down. It still clatters through them, crack of the whip going. It knows where it's going. The folk know to move out the way of a coach, and they do, without even thinking. At points, there's fights over there. Oh, they're back. Prostitutes over there. They've just passed by. Someone out calling for business. Someone else saying, "Would you like a pie?" as you go by. You pass by a small park with a statue in the middle, with an emperor with its head cut off, looking very proud. And then, in the distance, the burning. There's a lot of fire. Clearly there's some form of unrest. This doesn't surprise at least half of you. Altdorf is known for its unrest. But beyond the fact there's unrest, there is something to be unrestful about.
That statue with the...
Yes.
Can I just check?
Lore art?
Thank you.
In the meantime, you will sigh happily. She's like, home.
Emperor Leopold,
successes.
the emperor's father.
Right.
Looks like they've beheaded the emperor's father.
How old is the emperor? Is it likely that his mind is decaying while still living as old age approaches?
I don't think he's that old.
I would know how old he is, right?
Who? The emperor?
Yes.
I believe he's in his 30s, as far as you know.
So I believe, I could be wrong, that he's in his 30s. I haven't met him, but I've been in the same room as him multiple times.
You haven't met him?
Well, no. So I've sort of met him.
Uh-huh.
I met his son. I used to hang around with him when I was in the League of Karl Franz.
Well, it's okay. Not everyone can speak with the emperor. You'll get there.
I'm sorry. Have you? Have you met the emperor?
Perhaps.
What?
The emperor, he's about my parents' age, I would say. He has a kid who's our age, right? So, one time we were there, my mom was there, and he decided he would rather speak with me. So we talked about, sword fighting and stuff, and he asked me how it was going, and he seemed pretty pleased that... he was a little bit uncouth. He did say, "you people." But, he seemed pretty happy that women from Nippon are also taught sword fighting and, weapon skills.
Albert looks at you, May, and he's looking for a sword.
No obvious sword, she's carrying a bow. There's a dagger there, though.
Eric, if I walked around East Altdorf with a sword, would I not look inconspicuous?
I've been through East Altdorf, and no, you would not stand out at all.
Tiny me with a big sword, it would look weird.
Lots of folk carry swords in East Altdorf, I'll tell you that.
Still.
So, how old are your parents?
That's a good question.
Late 30s.
Yeah, late 30s.
So he's not much younger than me.
Different species, I guess.
Yes, but I was born 51 years ago, so...
Well, yes, but you see, for humans, that's quite a considerable amount of time. I know it sort of depends how close or far away you are from the...
The coach goes over a big bump and then starts making its way uphill as it makes its way towards the Königsplatz, one of the higher parts of the north of Altdorf. You've got yourself a good half hour's worth of coach riding yet before you arrive, and that is your final destination where this coach will terminate.
As we're going along, Birdie says,
How old are you?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I always do that.
No, that's okay.
Your words come out quite slowly.
Thanks. Cheers for that. I think I'm 19.
Oh, I see.
I'm not sure. But I was just thinking about this edict. It's going to make my life a lot easier. Because I was forever flushing blinking mutants out of the sewers when I was a sewer jack. Every other week, having to push them out and send them on their way. So I can just ignore them now, work around them.
Oh, because they would be allowed to be within the sewers.
Yeah,
Well, they would come out on the streets.
not my problem. Once they go beyond the sewer grates, somebody else's issue.
Yeah, they presumably wouldn't need to hide in the sewers. Was that up in Midnight?
Yeah.
Gerhardt starts side-eyeing
I
almost
have a
every person we
nephew in
walk
Midtime.
past.
Have you met him?
Does he spend a lot of time in tunnels?
He is unusual. No, I don't.
He's not a rat.
Is he? I was about to ask a foolish question. Is he an elf? Presumably he is, but I suppose he may have been adopted. or not. I didn't mean to say something
I
offensive.
think that look means yes, he was an
Yes,
elf.
he was an elf. In that case, though, I also, I lived for a while in
did you?
Midnight as well.
Did you meet him?
Not as far as I know. I don't remember any.
What was his name?
Oh, Rolani.
Rolane?
Why?
Anyone got Lord Midnight?
No.
So the answer is a big fat.
Lord Midland?
That'll do. I mean, it's a different place. No, it won't. Midnigh's a different place. Yeah. No. Empire and
Lord
Empire. Not really. It's too specific. Midnight.
It's an
Got
elf.
Lord
Lore history? Yeah, no, I was up there as well. My order, the Silver Flame, that's where we're centred. Our duty is to protect the sacred flame of our work in Midnight. So,
I've seen it quite a few times actually.
You clatter by a bunch of demonstrators who are walking along with placards that say things like blah, blah, blah. You've no idea what they're attempting to say. It's really badly scrawled, but there's definitely something on there about Emperor, and there's a head on the other side.
Honestly, these people just need an education. You know? At least then they would be able to spell their signs correctly.
They could be doctors, my lord.
What do you mean they could be doctors?
Just, oftentimes they write you a script and...
Oh, that's very true. You can't see you can't make it. Trick and scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true.
Crest the top, and before you there is a wide open plat, and it is filled almost end to end with stalls. People hawking wares of all different kinds. There's weapons over there. There's some sort of potions over there, bubbling. So much food. So much food. Halflings over there with big massive placards and pies stacked up across the top of it, and proudly handing out wares in exchange for coins with big, huge, coal-driven pie makers sitting in front of them.
Gerhard.
Yes?
When I leave the...
Clack,
Are
clack,
you
clack,
still
clatter,
wearing my
clatter,
hand
clatter.
shoes?
Your what?
My hand shoes. I lent them to you.
A glove?
Yes. Are you still wearing them?
Yes, very much so.
Well, I was thinking we could stop at this market and buy some new ones.
Do you know what? That's literally on the list. So, new gloves.
Clack, 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 clack. And we're here! As the coach comes to a stop.
12 new shoes. A new cat. See if there's any sort of
Are you
shampoo.
a cat?
Yes, cat.
my lord, remember, anything you buy has to be carried.
We're here,
Oh,
says the
I'm
coachman.
sorry,
I'm from down below. You need to be taken anywhere. Someone says, don't listen to the kid. I can take you anywhere you need to go. He says, you need to get your hawk, I'll get you there. You need anywhere else, I'll get you there. As folks start coming up towards the coach.
Oh. I hate this place.
I can take you to the best inn in Altdorf. Best food you have ever tasted.
Oh, come on.
Blue
Really?
Pump will hop off the top. And again, standing on top of it, we're fine, in as Reichlander-y a voice as he possibly can. We're all right, we're locals, we know where we're going.
It's a giant, says one kid. Backs off. He'll turn you to salt! And literally tears off. Father, I imagine you'll need yourself a guide to a good place to
We're
stay.
locals, we know where we're going, we're fine.
All right. How about you, your ladyship? Get out of bloody way, says the bodyguard. Fuck off. Go on, fuck off. Your ladyship. No! Fuck off!
What a brass hole.
Nice.
And the kid moves off. Hey, you folk, want a pie? comes the call from a halfling sitting over by the wall. Genuine rubsters made of actual meat! It says, caught by the clan so you can be guaranteed it's real!
Okay, this is your first time out.
Only a Fennig!
Yeah.
And then another call from the other side. Ignore the halfling filthy food! It'll give you proper trots, it will! What you need is a genuine eel! Get yourself an eel down you, slip it down your throat. Eel and mash with genuine liquor. Says genuine liquor. Come on over, get yourself some genuine, only tuppence.
Okay, so loud, but also we need to get. You need to have one of those pies. They're fantastic. So I'll get you that.
And I don't know for everyone else, but the worst trots I've ever had was after eating an eel. So I
Yeah.
don't think I trust that vendor.
Absolutely not.
But he looks down at Meat Pie, who's named for a reason, because of meat pies, and goes, maybe later. Exactly.
He runs over to the halfling through the crowds.
Oi! Meat Pie! Back here!
Yeah, that's going to require a roll. Animal training.
Okay.
Yeah. Pie.
Session 2, meat pie is in a pie.
Genuine meat pie. Pie.
No, he's not listening to me.
Here, get off me leg, says the halfling.
He is a dog of many passions. Pies are only one of them.
You can
Sorry,
barely
mate.
even see him because of the crowds passing through.
Stop wending my way through.
Do yourself a perception test, please. So what are the rest of you doing now that we're in the Königsplatz? On one of the rises of Altdorf, we've got the Street of 100 Taverns that leads down that way. We have a whole variety of other streets that lead in other directions. This is the part of town you frequented the most. This is the part of town you know. The University District is just down the hill and over there. Go down the Street of 100 Taverns, the street that connects directly to it. This is your part of town. Yes.
Before Elemenaway lightly hops down from the coach, she would like to have a look round to see if there's anyone that looks a bit suspicious, has noted our arrival.
It's fair to say Lucas is looking very suspicious of literally this entire city.
No, not in our group. Out there, if there's anyone who's,
Yes, everyone.
Yes, I thought so.
Yeah, pretty much. So, first things to say. Anyone got 6th sense? Yep, everyone with 6th sense, you're in danger. It settles in.
Oh, no.
You're in danger. You feel it?
Being Altdorf is like...
You feel it. You feel prickly. You feel off. Something is just... Ugh.
Contrary to what he says, like this is not what Leopold has felt every
No,
time
not
he's
at all.
been brought up. So,
Elemenaway doesn't have 6th sense, but the reason I was asking, she's got nose for trouble, so she can...
That's a completely different kettle of
That's why
fish.
she was looking for
Did you
people
pass
who
your
might
perception
be
test?
troubling
0
her.
successes. Yeah.
0 successes. Good to know. Can I have a perception test from you, please? You may.
You may.
Re-roll that one.
Okay, fortune point. Go for it.
Leopold will step closer to Gerhardt, particularly since Birdie's not there.
Excellent. Do love to hear that. As you make your way over to the halfling merchant, who's sitting there and looks up at you, looks right up at you, and goes, "Pies? Yeah, is this yours?"
Sorry.
Pies? Says, they're only, looks at you. Pfennig each. It's like a single coin. 3, 4, 5, 8 pies. You're big.
Yeah. Sky's blue.
10 pies. He says, 12 pies for your children. Look at my children. I've got to feed them. 15 pies.
I'll take 6.
6.
And my dog back.
You're welcome to him. He says, 6pence, please.
Oh, hand that over.
No, you won't. Your purse isn't there.
Oh. Right.
You're purseless.
Do I see anybody sprinting from the sea?
There's so many people. You can't believe you've already been pickpocketed. You've been here for all of a few minutes and your pocket has been picked. You feel rather foolish.
No, I feel very angry. That's my natural go-to.
I think that's fair. As he's sitting there with the pies with big, huge eyes going, "Pies?
Sorry, mate. I've been robbed.
So have I!" He says,
Gerhardt's
"Fuck off, bloody..."
Gerhard will come up behind Birdie, just look over his shoulder. Is there a problem?
You can't look
Father
at the
along with
flashlight.
you, I presume. So
Oh,
she
yeah,
says, "Say goodbye."
around the shoulder.
Says,
Problem?
she's looking to buy pies for herself. She's buying 6 for herself. I imagine you'll need 6 as well. Well, my lord.
I've had my pocket picked.
Oh, right, okay. Well, no problem at all.
That'll be a shilling, he says, for the 12 pies.
It was only 6.
6 for you. He says, I've only got another 6 left. The rest are on the cook.
No, it's okay. I mean, surely there's no money at all, really.
I've no.
Well, no, it's very true. Look, cash is a bit tight, so we'll do it. Original price seems reasonable.
6 pfennigs, 6 pies.
6 shrapnel, all for you.
Or
Okay,
12 for 12 pies.
that would be 2 more pie for everyone. Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
We're done.
Right.
Pulls out his pies, passes them over. Steam arises from that unspecified meat.
Okay.
While this is going on,
Drop it down. Excellent.
Birdie's fishing out a big length of string from her pocket and tying it round Meat Pie's collar.
Wise move. As long as you give him the pie, he'll take it.
Seems reasonable.
It certainly does seem reasonable, doesn't it? So, what is your plan now that you've already had your pockets picked? You've got your pies. You've got an entire city before you. You've got a couple of things to follow up, whether it is the letters that you have or the potential for chasing down an elector count, wherever he may be residing. What's your plan?
I hate this place.
People
Birdie,
jostling
this
by.
is why we get along.
I mean, I think the goal was to find the elector count, right? That's
And my purse.
To me.
No, it's gone.
I think the chances are slim.
We could find you a new purse.
Will it have the money in it?
Depends whose pockets you pick.
Good shout. Keep your eyes peeled.
Have we eliminated the obvious? Did you take Birdie? I had to ask.
It'll be a cruel prank to play.
Everyone got a cute sense hearing.
No, you know that.
You know
Oh,
that.
I know.
No,
Meat Pie does.
Meat pies, ears perk up. But then they've been perking up anyway. So much pie.
When we saw the fires, where
Yes.
were they?
Further down towards the south. And they're
South
still
of the
to the
city.
south. Yeah. So apparently they'll probably be close. You would guess if they're all the way down the Street of 100 Taverns, across the bridges, over onto the next set of islands, it's probably over by the Imperial Palace somewhere. There'd be some sort of riot or some sort of demonstration going on, and they'll be wanting to put it down. But it's quite distant and appears to make no difference to the people who are here.
I know a very good place, very close by, on the Street of 100 Taverns, actually. 100?
Street of 100 Taverns.
100 Taverns.
Although it's been called a Street of 1,000 Taverns by many.
Could be 1,000.
Largely because the Street of 1,000 Taverns sign is still up there, right beside Universitätsstraße.
Excellent. I mean, we used to say 10,000 because obviously you have a few jars and then you can't see anything and it's all very fun. But I know a good one.
Yeah, maths-based humour is the best.
Exactly, yeah, very much so. Maths and alcohol, 10 out of 10.
Got 10,000 out of 10,000.
See, you understand. Very good. So it begins. There's a very good inn very close by called the Hammer's Haft. It's got an excellent cubby room, sort of side thing. If you pay a little bit extra, you can go in there completely uninterrupted, and it's got the right type of folk in it. So it's sort of good for
Would you indulge me, my lord, by explaining what you mean by the right type of folk?
right. Yes. So not the wrong type is the right example. So anyone who's anyone tends to.
More importantly,
Yes.
People
if you went there, surely they'd recognize you.
No, I'll tell you why not. Because of the scar. I look completely different now. The other thing, to be fair, I'll tell you for why. So this place, very good, keeps the right people out and the wrong people, all that sort of thing. I actually remember an evening that we spent there.
Is it an inn, my lord?
Is it an inn?
Or is it just a tavern?
Well, you can stay there. They don't actually have beds.
Is it expensive?
No, not too bad.
If they do not have beds, where do you sleep?
Just wherever you like.
But also, we're probably not the right people right now. We've got Yume, who doesn't know.
A horn calls out across the plats. And then,
Like Leopold,
it's not a horn, it's this time a brass horn,
Ooh.
as a trumpet blares. Oh, that would suggest the arrival of the Emperor.
Hide.
Colin Mennewhite vanishes into the crowd.
Just like melts away
Hat pulled
behind
down.
everyone. Another scarf around the top of her face.
Shouts and calls, and then quite the hubbub coming from the south end of the market.
Birdie looks
Alaric
around.
will begin to move towards it.
Why is everybody behind
Is there
me?
a hiding? Alan Mennewhite to get
Are we not going the wrong way?
Multiple
Alric?
statues if you want to go
Yeah.
perch up in one.
Yeah.
Okay, quick climb test.
He's
It's
also
average.
kind of loosened his cloak a bit so that his uniform is showing. Just 'cause he doesn't want people coming near him.
Ah! Ah! Lots of calls and shouts, many of them negative. And you hear a child, I'm already saying, "You got any rotten tomatoes? Got any rotten tomatoes?"
But perhaps now is the time for us to try and head towards that discreet tavern.
2 successes. She's up the steps.
Clamber up. You can see off the other side, Reichsguard.
Reichsguard.
Shining silvery metal armour, long plumes on their helmets, up on their horses, and almost a phalanx around what appears to be, certainly, I mean seriously, on the middle of the streets, the Emperor. Golden laurel around his hair, golden armour, a horse bedecked in the finest big KF.
He doesn't
Painting.
look like a mutant yet.
He looks quite the opposite of a mutant. He looks almost for a human, dashing. Behind him, the Imperial 1st Regiment of Foot, the
I would
Imperial
say-
Guard.
I would say quite dashing, and he is my age.
At the front, back! And you can hear the calls and the boos, rotten things being thrown at them.
Yume, do you want to come up?
Well, Yume was gonna turn to Birdie and go,
Not difficult. Up on Birdie's shoulders. Oh, yep, you can see it over there as well. You've met the Emperor.
I have.
He did not look so dashing when you met him. This man looks, let's say, healthier, bigger, broader. He looks like what the Emperor would be in the Emperor's head. He definitely looks far, let's say, nobler than you would have expected. The Emperor you met was a nice chap, very well dressed, sitting up on his throne, chatting to you when he wasn't supposed to, breaking protocol, causing your mother to fume.
Oh, she was so mad.
And fume, until eventually he gave up talking to you and dismissed you all without even speaking to her. But he did get a good idea of what your people were like. And as it makes its way down and then curves onto the street of 100 taverns, the procession, folks gather around. There's some people cheering. Oh no, they're not cheering, they're fighting. It's turned to fisticuffs in the street over there.
It looks like a
Down with the Emperor! You can't say that! Bang!
Yes.
Bang! Punch!
This will probably spread. So the hammer's halved. Hammer's halved.
I'm assuming they have a relatively discreet entrance.
No, yes, very much so.
They're going to recognize you.
No, it's okay. Trust me, the discreet entrance is very discreet. We used it many times well, now I look back, it's actually very shameful circumstances, but back then we all thought it was a jolly good laugh.
But this is the point, you've used it a lot. They will recognise you.
Well, they might do, but, we've got to...
Lucas.
Either we do it here, where
Surely,
it's
if
actual
it's
danger.
100 taverns, we've got somewhere to go.
He's
let's
got
go
that
to
hat.
one you've never been to before. There's a challenge.
Let's go to any of the other 99.
Okay, fine. You used to hang
Just
around this
pick
area?
one. Just, right.
Where
Alaric
do
will
you
go
go?
in the first door.
Well, have you been in there?
No.
There.
So we're on the Königsplatz, and the closest one is a very large establishment with 4 floors. It's got a big stables out the front, and they're clogged full with horses. 5 or 6, 7, maybe even more ostlers are working their magic on the various steeds. It's clearly an inn. The doors are open. There's a huge bustling hustle on the inside. But the door is also full of people looking out to try and see what all the fuss is out on the streets. You can, as you turn around and you're looking at, you hear one go, here we go again. Well, look at that, calls out another. Was that the Emperor? Down with the Emperor! Sigmar!
To sort of get us in a little bit better.
Sure. Liverpool will attempt to take the lead and hope to.
It's not too difficult. As you head forward, push, and they're like, oh, get out of the way. They're not
Excuse
meant to
me.
be in the door, you know, so they're quite willing to move out the road with
You'll be
ease.
polite. It's not.
As you make your way in, you feel a on your shoulder.
I do.
Yes, you do.
Oh, bugger. Okay, yep.
You turn around. There's a gentleman there. Hat. Very neat. He looks at you and he goes, good afternoon. He says, it's good to see you finally.
Fuck.
And then out of the crowd comes another fellow, much taller. And he looks at you, leans back, says, good to see you.
That's a strange.
Good to see you.
Was that you or was that Andy or was that him?
That was him.
Okay.
It was also Andy. Just to make sure. But,
no worries.
yes.
I was like, who's that?
But it was him.
Right.
As someone says, I trust your journey went well.
Are we?
No, you just pushed in.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But
so
he has not
he's still round
followed.
the street, that's
Yeah,
what-
totally. He's
yeah.
not followed. So you've been left with whoever was still probably
Yeah.
Birdie.
Who's watching
Alana
the
wife,
baby?
who's still sitting on top of the statue. I know it's still standing on top of the statue. She's probably going to have to get off of Birdie, although she could be just sitting there looking down.
As she sees him being engaged, she'll sort of spin herself off like you would on a bus, you know, on a pole.
Yeah,
So
spin
she
down.
spins round
Nice.
Nice.
and runs with the momentum of it, and then
Quite.
stops next.
As the big one looks, and the smaller one says, imagine the journey was fine.
Yes. The journey was fine.
Birdie steps half in front of him, not to block him, but just to make sure she's between him and
Lest they should do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take
Looks at you, looks at him. You know the journey. He says, I imagine it was fine. As the big one goes, yeah.
Is it really obvious that they're doing that?
Is that not how you scratch your ear?
I don't know what you mean.
It was somewhat treacherous at points.
As the shorter one goes, and looks up at the bigger one looks down and looks at you. And then the small one looks back and goes, oh. And the pair of them just walk off.
Okay, Birdie, that was not normal of Altdorf. I don't know what that
They
was.
go into the building next door to the inn that you're in. You can see a chap there wearing armour, black leather armour with studs down the length of it. Waves them in, looks out, sees you, all of you, and closes the door.
Maybe they are waiting for the other guy.
Right, yes, that's a good point. Maybe they were. And I look very similar to him. Ah, yes. Do you think I got the code right? I don't think I got the code right. No.
I don't think you did.
So, right, so those people know that I'm not who they think I am. But, yeah,
I think we should just go in.
You're back at the door again.
Yeah,
Have gone in.
I thought you wanted to.
No, yes, we're coming in.
Alright,
Sorry.
back on the table. I'm sitting down at a table.
Yeah.
Some people ask me for a cigarette. You know how it is.
I really don't.
Cigars, more like.
Cigar. Well, as it
I smuggle a
happens.
pipe myself now that I put it. Whatever.
No, it's fine.
Do you?
Or do you
I mean,
want-
not right now.
What happened?
A couple of guys walked up to us, tried to give some kind of coded message to himself. He had no idea, obviously. We wondered if it was for Castor.
And then they went and spoke to someone in like shiny armor about it. And the inn next door.
No, it was black leather armor.
So not
Shiny black
not-
leather.
but not memory, not like a
Not metallic.
not like the Reichsguard, for instance, which would be a thing.
I could surveil that establishment and see where they go after. I'll nip round the back.
Make your way out.
Sneaks.
Getting there is going to be difficult because the buildings are all in blocks, so getting around the back might be effectively
Oh,
impossible.
can I go over the
Well, you can certainly give it a go. That won't look suspicious.
I probably shouldn't do that.
So you can just look out from the Königsplatz and amongst the milling crowds and just watch to see if anyone comes
Yeah, I'll
out.
just watch
Or
to see if
alternative.
anyone
Yep.
comes out.
So you're just going to
Same
sit
from
there.
behind the statue again.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
So nonchalantly lounge by your statue. That sounds good. As you're sitting on the inside, as your man goes, right, so this is a place. Are we getting food or drink here? Are we staying? What's our plan?
Oh, Lucas, right.
Well,
You always forget about it.
I know.
Probably.
we have that person we need to meet, then I'm sure we all have things we need to do here as well.
Yes.
We have to find the elect account and get out of this town as fast as possible. I believe that's the plan, right?
I like that.
You've got your college business to take care of,
This
right?
place sucks.
I have some things to do.
Well,
Says the voice from outside.
Oh, I'm not there.
and are
She muses
are we
to
still on the
herself.
precipice, or have we gone and sat down in the quiet area?
I imagine
Yeah.
you're sitting down in a
Yeah.
quieter area, if not necessarily fully quiet.
Elric
It's
is massively concerned. So, if you are this doppelganger, and as soon as you come to Altdorf, people find you quite easily.
Well, you
I
are
mean-
wearing his hat.
And this is the Königsplatz. This is where the coaches
would go.
coming from the Midland Road would go, and he was in a coach
But
coming
still,
down the
they
Midland
were
Road.
watching for this
Well, they were
person
expecting him.
to go to some, was it a lawyer's office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not here.
But
though.
not here. though.
Oh,
No,
sorry,
no.
that was an
Yeah,
Altdorf.
No.
But they must have,
It's,
he was in a coach on the road coming here. This is where his coach would go. So that does suggest that they were expecting him. Which would suggest that they're probably friends of his.
Not
The
my
man in
friends.
black leaves. He has a look around. You do yourself a quick stealthy check.
Sorry, just checking if I've got alley cat. That means I'm better in town, right?
Certainly does.
So I got 3 successes, but does alley cat?
I
mean
don't get the. If I'm not looking for you, then I don't get my test. But I am
Yeah,
looking.
3 successes.
So he looks around. Doesn't appear to clock you. You might be just good at not clocking folk.
Oh no,
or-
sorry, 4 successes because of
Yeah.
alley cat.
Well, of course. Pads down the stairs, looks out across the market, looks over towards the inn, walks over to the inn, looks in the door, then walks off, and then makes his way down the street of 100 taverns. Now he's now out of shot. Meanwhile, on the inside,
Gerhard's just having a quick look around. Slight puzzled look on his face. No, I have been in here. I've been in here as well.
you have this place is frequented by messengers from across the empire.
Yes.
People who are carrying notes. You also are aware that many a spy can be found in this place. You've effectively
literally the worst
you have walked into one of the most, let's say, watched inns in all of Altdorf.
That's on me.
And you've just realised. Yeah, you've just realised.
Okay, so this place.
As a kindly gentleman walks up with a big apron on and says, "Good evening, I imagine you'll be looking yourself from some drink and some food." He says, "Oh, where have you come from?" He says with a smile.
Some drinks, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would like some drinks.
Right, you are. He says, "We'll get you something to drink." He says, "What wine? Wine."
Wine for his lordship, ale for the rest of us. You're dressed.
He says, "I'll ask no questions and tell no lies." He says, "I'll bring you over." He says, "I imagine you don't want house, sir. Are you looking for something a bit more interesting?"
Right, okay, well, that's the rules just gone. Yes, no, I'll have something very interesting. Light body, full fruit, maybe a little bit of smoke on the nose. That would be ideal.
I've got something perfect for you. So
Excellent,
for
thank
my
you.
I'll be with you in a moment. Says.
Proper connoisseur.
Yes. Preferably pairing with game, ideally.
And he turns around. You looking for food as well?
No, just the sort of the flavour.
Of course, my lord. And he pops off.
Meat Pie looks briefly excited and goes, oh.
I
thought maybe you were going to play cards again.
We've got the pies. No. Oh, that's a good. Where was that gentleman?
I don't know.
You
I
lost
was just
him.
No,
making
he-
a joke about
yeah, he
pairing with
separated
game.
at the
My lord,
coach.
It doesn't matter.
Very droll. Very droll.
I think Alamanowith will hop down
Pop on in.
and skip.
Indeed. Lucas goes, so are we going to get rooms for the evening first? Or are we going to try and hunt down with the... I mean, I imagine he'll be in one of the Ostlander estates, but I'm sure we could probably find out quite easily.
Well, maybe we should ask around and see if we can find out. And then...
He says, well, I could go by myself, perhaps the Sul. They're renowned for keeping track of the important nobles that are visiting. If he's here, it'll probably be marked in the Sul.
I mean, we just ask about the people here as well, I suppose.
Well, then they know.
Yeah, true.
He says, I'll go see if I can get some broadsheets. See if we can find out who's in town.
Oh, good stuff. That's
He says,
Is it
Is
safe?
Alamanowith coming?
yeah, you've just
Is
arrived.
it safe for him to
Yeah.
go? Or is it safe for you to go by yourself?
He says, of course it is. It's just a city. He says, I'm just buying myself some broadsheets. It's not like...
we're in civilization now. He's not going to get attacked by any sort of.
I mean, I studied here.
He knows.
He says,
But
I've never been in this place, though.
someone here is out for us, right? I have a really bad feeling
In here?
in this
In
city.
general,
Oh,
We just need to be careful. Be extra careful.
I think someone should go with him.
How many of you lost?
I could go with him. If
I
you
can go with
want
him.
to
Can we go with him?
No.
No. Are you okay?
Whichever you prefer.
Yeah. Lucas.
And Godfather, you're good company. He says, be good to get into some reading, though, don't you think? He says,
Yes, it would, Lucas.
We're bringing him back.
Okay, fine.
Can I have one of those pies for the road?
Oh, yes, no, certainly.
nobody told me there was... Is that what you were doing?
Yes.
Oh, it's a Rumster's. I'll get something when I'm out.
Loophole will take a second.
There's no outside food rule in this tavern, is there? Just in case.
I'm sure you're going to find out. Leaving you without the father and Lucas for a few moments as a large tray with 3 bottles of wine is on it and a host of goblets that he lays down on the table. He has a corkscrew and he looks round and says, seems your purse is gone.
Who's best?
Says, your purser. Who's paying me?
Has my purse gone?
No,
Yes.
Lucas.
Your
He's
person.
your
Oh, I see. Yes.
He smiles. As I said, ask no questions, tell no lies. He says, it's 4 shillings for these. It's not too much.
Right. No, quite all right.
Oh, right.
I
Oh.
have my I have personal. funds.
You pass over the money, and he
I know
says,
it's
well,
not
of course.
ideal.
And he pours for you.
This much wine?
No, yes, certainly.
We've lost 2 people.
Don't worry about it.
They're coming back. They'll.
How much was it? Sorry.
4 silver.
4 silver. Completely fine.
Very much.
Barely a dent.
He says, and he pours, and he sort of hangs there for a moment.
Well, yes, fine. I'll. Okay, good. And just doing the nod.
He still hangs for a moment.
He's not corked. Sorry. No. Yes. All right. Fair enough. I'll tell you what. Actually,
Usually deals with this for him.
the tipping here seems to be quite stingy. Maybe it should be somewhat a little bit more. Should information be passed, a bit more. You know.
Well,
Sort of waving a coin
he
towards
says-
him.
what is it you're looking to know?
Excellent. So,
And he smiles.
do we know? Do I know about the man in black?
No, I don't believe anything extra has been passed on regarding that.
Okay,
so
don't know
yet.
anything about that. Just out of curiosity, the Emperor's displays, as he does, or as he's known to do, how
4th
often?
time this week.
4th time.
Yeah.
Okay, right, interesting. That's good to know.
It was all right for the first two. Then his little edict passed, and I say passed. From what I hear, it was put forward.
Put forward.
Well, you know, it's not like he had any support for it, from what I hear.
Right.
At least that's what the broadsheets say.
Okay. And are there any broadsheets that are sort of pro this move, out of curiosity? They're all universally against it. Okay.
You probably heard the riots when you came here.
Can see the fires, yes.
Yeah, it's bad in the centre. I don't recommend it.
Um,
Anyone who's anyone that's spoiling for a fight is down there, but it's good because it means here there's been barely a fight at all.
So, who is anyone of anyone? If you know, who are the rabble rousers? The names.
That's a little bit like saying how long's a piece of string.
Well, the big ones.
Dunno.
There's usually a figurehead.
You're gonna have to wait some time before it all settles down and everyone starts, forming their own corners.
Right.
Can't be certain, he says.
Okay, fine. Well, look here. Have this anyway. He
takes the coin.
The extra cash will buy your silence, I'm sure.
He says, of course.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Very quickly, if anybody asks, you saw a gentleman here today who was called Trot. Yes.
I
says-
think he already established that he asks no questions and tells no lies.
No, but
But
should
for 2 silver, I'm happy to say there was a trot in here.
yeah.
he says,
Man.
He says, any particular trot?
He's asking for more money.
No, he's not. No.
He
no.
said 2 silver.
No, just, I mean, you choose the Trots because they're ultimate scumbags. They're not really nobles. Well, they are nobles, but realistically,
he
they're...
wants 2 silver.
Yeah.
And he just looks at you.
Why don't I?
This
be
is
your
why I was
person?
hoping to deal with
it's
the
okay.
bursar.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about
Just
it.
give him the 2 silver.
Okay, fine, I'll give him another silver. Good God.
2.
Sigmar, good
2.
Sigmar.
Another 2 silver.
Another 2 silver?
2 silver, yeah.
Bloody hell.
He says,
I mean, the
it's a
hell's-
small service.
I've just realised the mistake that we've made.
We let Lucas.
Yeah.
The faster he runs out of money, the less random things he can buy.
But no, he doesn't learn.
He
We
says,
know this now.
well,
Two.
now that he says, as he pockets that gently inside his side pocket, he says, there is a certain Absalom trot currently in Altdorf that we're aware of.
Absalom?
Yeah, Absalom.
Oh, with an M.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Absalom. He's actually a quite nice man, but Absalom with an M. Terrible man.
Just say that if you're wanting a rabble rouser, he's down in the middle right now, getting into fisticuffs.
I bet he is.
Yeah,
Awful. Absalom. Sorry, what's his name again?
Absalom.
Absalom. It's a good wine.
Elric has scoffed a whole bottle. It's just his. Yeah.
He was like chief, how would I say it?
I think.
Knuckle duster.
He says,
Wait.
you know him?
Yes.
He says, well,
Only through reputation, of
I'll
course.
be why you wanted him to be here. It's not going to be the most likely that he's here in the afternoon, but in the evening, if anyone were asking, I can say we're here.
So, very good, my man, who name I do not know and never will.
Probably best.
Yeah.
He says,
We can't leave, but you probably should.
all right, good evening. And he makes his way off, leaving you to your wine. Broadsheets are plenty. As I want no. I also want I want the spieler as well. No, I want no. Yes, I'm aware that I'll have all of them actually. This is heavenly. He says, yes, I know how much it is. No, shut up. I'm not paying that much. He says, passes over coins. Excellent. Right, Father. He says, we have a
pay
lot
attention
to
to
read
how much he
about.
pays so that he doesn't get conned if ever he
And the
has to
price
buy
is quite
one.
clearly marked in the front, 3D, 2D for each of the individual sheets. But yes, the chap did attempt to overcharge him. He goes, right. He starts leafing through them. I say, all they're talking about is the stupid mutant thing.
That's hardly a surprise.
It's hardly surprising. It does make it difficult though. Oh, here we go. Points to a bull's head. It appears that he's not holding court. And that there are large queues looking for employment by his residents. Seems likely. Most importantly, though, Gulna Hill. So they're on Gulna Hill. I don't know Gulna. Do you know Gulna Hill? No? Well, let's go ask everyone else, see if they know. We can peruse these at our leisure later. I'm quite excited. Finally, back into civilization. Right, let's go. So you're back in the inn with your wine. Wine.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, you haven't told us that this is the place that the spies hang out. Has
No, she hasn't. He hasn't, pardon me. And nor have you
Mind.
told anyone about the man in black either.
Oh yes. Oh, I saw the man in black. He left the building next door.
So that replies at what man in black?
What's man in black?
The man in the black armor that Yumi was talking about when you were apparently not listening.
Oh no, I was not listening at all. I was just remembering this place.
He never listens to me.
Yes, the two gentlemen, they went into the place next door. A man in black leathers opened the door and they had words. And then he came out, peered into this inn, and then went off somewhere.
Leopold and Lucas return. Lucas comes over, sits down, goes, I think we found him already. Says, oh, we've got wine. Excellent. Go. To civilization, he says, and broadsheets. So, apparently he's in Gwelner Hill. Does anyone know where that is? Yes, you do. You've been down Gwelner Hill Way multiple times. Many of the noble estates are in the south of the city on Gwelner Hill. It's not far away from the zoo. In fact, you think the zoo is on Gwelner Hill, and you've been to the zoo multiple times.
I love the zoo.
Yeah, the zoo.
Oh, it's so good. No, I know it.
Marvellous. Then, is it far away? Yes. Down the south side.
Yes, a little bit of a jaunt. but
You're going to have tolls to pay and all sorts. Probably better leaving it to tomorrow.
And
Probably.
where the fires were.
And you'd have to go past all the fires, or
Okay.
at least round it. And you could easily get caught up making your way there for hours. Better
Right.
to go in the clear day the next day or an equivalent.
And I feed all that information back to everybody through my posh way.
Your posh way.
Posh way.
Absolutely.
What's no joke?
How many broadsheets does he have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 broadsheets and 2 smaller journals as well that he's currently flicking through.
Does anyone know? No, I don't suppose any of you do. But perhaps, if you were communicating clandestinely,
Yes.
that's the word. Which broadsheet might you communicate with your fellow clandestine spies in?
I don't know.
It would be any of them.
Yeah.
It would depend on which one you had prearranged.
I will have a look.
Lucas.
I mean, surely if it was clandestine, if everybody knew which one was the clandestine paper, it wouldn't be clandestine anymore.
But what do
Oh,
you
the
do?
speeder.
That's what I was saying, but somewhat more politely, Father.
Well, I feel no disrespect to Mr. Salamena wife that occasionally one needs to spell out our human ways because they are.
That's fair.
But Alamenowite and Albert would have had the experience of secret signs in the wild, which is a little bit different. So maybe he understands it, but yeah. Okay, knock yourself out.
She's going to look for any
Do you have codes?
Yes.
Excellent. Do your roll.
I do.
Oh, the necessary skill. I do love it.
5 successes.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, lovely.
Elf dice.
Looking through, going from sheet to sheet, looking at, there's all sorts of things that could be. And that's exactly the issue that was being raised by the father. There's all manner of little places that clearly you can buy out a few words. And they say things, and there's letters beside them. And yeah, sadly though, this is not your strength.
I was looking for one that maybe had a bull on it, like the Electra Count, and his party might be communicating with someone.
That does not seem to be the case that you spot. As Lucas keeps on looking through. They really are talking about this whole emperor thing a lot. They really are focusing on... You might want to see this one, Father. Conclave of the Saints is the headline.
Ooh.
You do not like the look of this article.
Ooh.
Apparently the Grand Theogenist has summoned all those connected to Sigmar.
Everyone.
All of them.
That's a lot.
That have any connection to Sigmar at all, so that they can, according to this rather salacious write-up, so they can determine exactly what they think about the Emperor's recent choices.
Dear. Yeah, I didn't see that.
I thought as much. He says, I mean, it's probably not true.
Lucas, is there anything about like ambassadorial families and things? Any news?
No, not at all. I mean, there's well, there is the Wastelander embassy has recently been closed in response to the Emperor's. Oh my goodness, I missed this one. In response to the Emperor's edict, the Wasteland is closing its. I can't believe they're doing that. That seems unlikely to me. I mean, they're all about money, but apparently they're closing down for effectively. They don't like that edict.
What?
They're closing their embassy, according to this. Let me check the Sul. The Sul's much better for this. It's mostly gossip, but oh, there we go. Oh dear. No, it's here as well. The Wasteland's closing its embassy. They're currently packing up. They've written formally to the Emperor. They've written formally to the Emperor, marking, and I quote, their disgust. Oh my. Apparently the Cathaean embassy is moving to Null. For no official reason, but one presumes, given the timing, that it could be related as well. They don't like the tenure or tone, perhaps. Who knows exactly what the issue is? And oh dear, Midland have closed their embassy. No. They've just decided to take a long sojourn in Karabag. Apparently the prince is in the south somewhere. Is it Prince? It shouldn't be Prince. Stupid Altdorfers. He's not a prince. He's not a prince. But they marked him here as a prince. They have no idea what they're talking about.
That's awful.
It absolutely is.
I, for one, am shocked and appalled.
Quite. You've got to get these things right. Titles are important. If you get the wrong title, Prince in Altdorf, of course, but not for Midland. So apparently they're in the south just now. That's very good. There is issues, but I presume that you're looking for something Nipponese. Nothing.
It has been a while though, so
No, nothing. There's literally nothing in here at all. There's no mention to them and anything that I've seen. I'm sorry to say. So, very little I can add to your current situation, so to speak.
That's okay. Thank you.
So, what is our plan? Are we obviously drinking, which I approve of heartily? Are we going to find ourselves somewhere quiet to stay the night, or are we going to? He says, organize perhaps some form of transport so that we can go down and chase up this inheritance.
Do you mean what, this evening?
Well, securing the transport is not the same as getting on the transport.
No,
my
that's
lord.
true.
What time are we at?
You're sitting in the early evening, around about 7.
Evening.
Yeah, about 7, 8. When the next bells go, you'll be certain.
Elrisbury was drunk his bottle of wine. Yeah, he's not handling being an Altdorf well.
Perhaps we should get rooms. He says, given that.
But
Give me
probably
out.
not here.
No, not here at all. This is actually a tavern typically associated with spies. Which is absolutely fantastic, really.
Flies!
Exactly.
There's like a
shit.
table-wide face palm.
Do they?
Leopold, are you
have
okay?
sheets in this town?
There's none sitting out other than the ones that you have.
Like,
Yeah.
so
Let's
we're going
leave.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Anywhere
Obviously.
but here.
Well,
Anyway, but
no.
can we go?
No,
No.
My lord, if you don't mind, I should like to go and have a little talk about dead people that we saw on the road. I would like to reinforce that particular rumour if we're in that sort of establishment.
Very good.
Yeah.
Lucas.
That's what I'm employed for.
No, that's very
It's
good,
what your
very
father is paying for.
Mm, yes, he is. He's very much paying that.
He better be. He says as he gets up. I'll go find someone incredibly unimportant.
Lucas, you should wait. Just one moment. You should probably know that our lord paid the innkeeper to say that Absalom Trott had frequented this establishment
Who?
today.
You know Absalom. Egghead Trot.
I don't.
The Trotts
Doesn't
are
know, he's not from
connected with.
Lakeland.
Oh,
Your brother is married.
So yes, correct. He's technically a brother. He's technically my brother-in-law. Sorry. He's technically my brother-in-law.
Not up. I'm not that young anymore.
Okay. So he's technically my brother-in-law.
Yes.
He's a little bit of a scumbag, if I'm completely honest. We used to hang around a little bit during university, you know, when I had my little foray. But sort of be the one who would go out and do.
What do I need to know this for?
Right. Just in case. Sorry, I'll tell you what he looks like. So completely bald.
Right.
Very large set man.
Right.
Um,
if we were to compare him to, say, the father, bigger.
Bigger than the father. Yes.
What?
Yes, as I said, think like 2 flesh barrels, put them on top of each other, and then just put like a.
And that's your brother-in-law.
Well, yes, not through choice, but obviously, why would you have a choice in any of these things?
And you said he's here.
No.
No. So he is here,
Right.
making trouble down in this centre of the city.
Right.
But we found that out from this gentle innkeeper when.
I'm so confused. What's it got to do
Look,
with what I'm doing?
I think
I
he's going
basically
for
said-
another persona. No, is
Just
that not
in
what the
case
point
he-
is?
No.
Yeah.
I think you should be
Oh.
armed with that information in
That's
case
what I
when you're
thought he was
spreading
doing.
this, you hear that Absalom. Oh, I don't know. It
Absalom.
seemed relevant.
Honestly,
He was trying to pretend that he was. I don't know.
no. I just thought it'd be a good jape.
Look,
he was
It's
here.
not the time.
I don't think you need to worry about this.
I
Lucas.
thought
Right.
it is my misunderstanding. I did not realize it was jape based. I thought it was a political scheme that you might need to be aware of.
Right.
My apologies, my lord.
You give him so much credit.
Yeah. No.
Right. So,
I honestly didn't know that he was in the city. I just thought it'd be funny if the
and
people.
if
thought
one
he
may
was.
lean in somewhat conspiratorially, he says, given the events on the road, it might also be wise that we reinforce the fact that you're going to be recognised by some if we're in a place full of spies. He says, so it may be worth ensuring that your alternate identity is dropped so that they are aware that you are not who they will probably presume you are.
Yes.
Yes, I thought so.
Caster.
Liberal.
It also.
I could use that as an alter ego. Correct.
That's
Yes.
exactly what.
That's what I said.
Look, it's the sin.
Don't worry, my lord. I'm on it. And he pops off. And you hear him in the distance going, "Oh, Pointer! So good to see you."
Pointer.
Pointer.
Lucas knows
Name.
people in this place that is frequented by spies.
No, well, you know everything. So it's kind
I,
of
for one, am again shocked and appalled.
it sort of happens. Nobles kind of know nobles.
But he's not a noble.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
he
he
is.
knows.
Oh,
He is. He
yes.
knows.
A
He's
minor
second
Midland bastard.
Lucas is a noble.
Yeah, just real. Well, I mean,
a lower tier noble then.
he's not noble capital N. You know what I mean? So capital
He
N
doesn't
noble.
have a green velvet cloak.
No, he does not. No.
He does not.
And that
Well,
is
neither
a
do you.
Not
signifier.
anymore.
And that is a signifier of.
Good blood, for lack of a better term. Good breeding, which I know saying it. Look, listen. So here's the thing. As I've said, the League and all that sort of thing, they are very obsessed with those kind of things. And to be fair, so is my father and quite a lot of nobles of who's marrying who's come from where, and all that sort of thing. Because ultimately, that's how you track your bloodline. That's how it goes all the way back to Sigmar, and how we can say this is the reason why we should rule, right?
Lucas sits down, partly done really quickly.
That was incredibly fast.
Of course, Caster. It's all resolved.
Yes, for I am Caster,
Don't say it so
Don't do
loud.
that.
right? So that's why. That's why.
We should go.
Can we do some swordplay?
Not
here.
Not in the streets.
I just thought it might knock some sense into it.
Not in the streets.
Well, that's what Burning is for.
No. Altdorf isn't quite like the rest of the Empire. It has an actual policing force of watchmen that will arrest anyone that's doing anything violent, as we can probably tell from the riots
Well, it does not look like they have succeeded.
and the fights that
Yeah.
trailed in the wake of the Emperor.
Again, it's sort of you can kind of pay them off if you really want to.
But no, we should find somewhere to spend the night. It's not.
Is it
this
going to
place.
be outside of the city?
No.
No.
Why would we leave? We just got here.
I don't like it.
This place sucks.
I'm assuming that as the longer that we've been here.
The drunker you get.
Yeah, but also the foreboding sense.
It
isn't
does
going
not
away.
in any
Isn't
way.
getting worse.
No. It's just consistent.
Did it in any way change while I was away from the rest of the party with Lucas?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
just
Nope.
consistent.
Nope.
General
Consistent.
malaise.
Yeah, general dread.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 100%
So-
consistent.
Perhaps one or two of us should go down, maybe to the docks and try and kind of secure passage south.
I don't think you should go.
You've already got to leave. One of us gets to go.
No, he's likely to be assaulted by Emperor loyalists. If it's seen that the cult of Sigmar is not agreeing with the Emperor, they'll look for there'll be those that are looking to fight.
Exactly my thinking.
They won't attack in
someone who
groups.
can
They'll be
move.
they'll be looking to pick on individuals probably.
So you're a problem to be seen with at the moment, Luitpold.
Well, it's very easy to disguise a
Just put your
giant
hat on.
covered in Sigmar stuff.
I mean, I could just not have my robes on.
Or your hair.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's.
And
I
it's
mean,
shaved and shit.
I could do that, but it's not a look.
Well, that really looks ridiculous as it pokes out either side.
Try and go for like a 90s curtain style, you know?
Beautiful.
Cover my tonsils here. No.
Alric will look at you, Mango, and it seems like you have experience moving through the city
Yeah.
undetected.
I mean, see, I just put on a hat, change how I walk a little bit, and then nobody
Exactly.
pays attention to me. Like this one time, I was walking by when my mom was really looking for me. So I sent out people, and then I walked right past them, and they had no idea. Even though I still look Nipponese, there's just that many people. If you look confident and like you're supposed to be here, and don't yell stuff, then nobody pays attention to you.
It is true. That is my experience also.
We should change
Perhaps
your hat.
we should go.
Did you fail to hear my group point?
Oh, we should all go.
I'm just concerned that well, we've already lost one purse.
Where's meat pie?
Don't rub it in. He's here.
In fact, I think it's a shining example of why we have to be careful.
You could have told me this before we arrived.
I can't say that I expected anyone to. Well, I should have, I suppose. I apologise. Because I don't feel it's fair to say it's my fault there.
No,
Somebody could have mentioned it.
I
Well,
laid the
I've
blame
said the whole
squarely on
way.
you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, in Owen's defence, he has said very little other than how bad this place is.
You didn't specifically mention theft. I would have concealed it in my bosom if I'd known.
Oh, they'd still get it.
Yeah, but I might notice or get some fun out of it while they were looking for it.
Right. So maybe somewhere to stay first,
Okay.
and a base of operations, somewhere to move from, where we can store
Maybe-
anything that we need to store or something.
Nearer this place that this prince is staying.
Well, that's deep into the south from
Quite far.
too far.
Is there anywhere you may would know that maybe is like used more by the realm?
Your area of influence. More accurately, the area that you know is down in the deep south, in the centre, and over in the east end. None of which is where you currently are.
Cool.
All of those areas are places you could go to, say a certain amount of time. You probably wouldn't want to go to the east end with these people because they stand out like a sore thumb. They would
Yeah.
get almost certainly badgered by some folk over there. The only person that here is unlikely to be badgered is Elric, because the bright colours in the east end and everybody over there knows. You just do not mess with anyone that looks like they might be a bright wizard. Is that a handy disguise? Yes, it is. But he's not in disguise. They just wouldn't approach him.
Yeah.
The rest
My
of them,
friend thought
though,
his eyebrows
he'd be
were done.
fleeced, almost certainly. She's wandering around rubbernecking and pretending that she's not all the time. Her head constantly looking up at the sky like it might fall down on her at any moment. So, well, quite, you never know. So she stands out. An elf, but a priest of Sigmar, Altdorf's a pious place. They would probably ignore him.
Yeah.
But it's not the best party to be with, not your part of town. So you would broadly, if you want to go somewhere go to the centre, but apparently that's where the riots are.
Based on where we are, there are the university buildings.
Are you going to be known now? I mean, the Beatles are pretty officious.
I
You're going to be
might know
recognised.
that too.
Yes, you might
I
be.
worked there, remember?
I do.
Did you?
Yes, for about 4 months I worked in a tavern that the dead guard of House Jungfraut used to frequent.
Right. Good to know. Then perhaps...
So I can confirm that it was him on the road.
Yes, you can.
I didn't think of that at the time.
Should if my face is such a problem? Sorry.
It's not that.
I can lend you a scarf.
Absolutely
Come here, come
disagree.
here. I will disguise you.
There we go.
You may do have anything.
Sure.
And just remove your hat.
I don't believe you have a disguise kit, so the answer is going to be
it doesn't
no.
seem to work on him.
Looks that
No.
noble bearing.
No one's going to spot us. We're in a city that's far too big. No one's going to be paying any attention. Let's get out of the place where we're most likely to be at least pointed at for being someone of interest, and let's just get somewhere else.
I agree. We should do it. Let's go. Stand up. Come on. It's time to go.
Right.
We've been here too long.
I was only going to suggest that maybe we work out our destination before we go.
Down the street of 100 taverns? You can't go wrong with that.
Well, it's just down the street. To be fair, as we're walking, I do have this, which basically says that I am not me. So legally,
If you do get, I mean, let's hope it doesn't come to that though. But if you
Yes.
should, then yeah. Out of curiosity, no, I don't know that.
Out of curiosity, nothing.
Curiosity, I wasn't in the room when you discussed that.
As you all make your way out the tavern back into the evening streets, the lovely smell of the city washes over you. And again, it's a heaving mass of population moving from one place to the next. A lot of folk. I presume we're being a little more careful with our possessions.
Don't have any now. It's fine.
Completely gone.
What about your weapons?
You
I'd
don't
like
want to
to-
lose those.
I'd like to see him taken.
What about meat pie?
He can
The string
fend
is
for
just.
just rock
Quite.
on a string.
The street of 100 taverns is long. It's around about 300-400 yards in length. And it is lined down both sides with inns and taverns and quite a lot of other businesses too. It's not an entirely accurate moniker. There are all manner of different folks looking to tout their wares, sell you stuff, and everything down this particular street can pretty much be bought. It is the centre for many, for nightlife, for example. And that means that you could buy yourself people, drugs, lots of alcohol, anything that you might find of interest of an eve, you can probably buy down here at some point. And that also attracts a certain amount of priests who are here to generally decry about how awful it is that you should consider doing such a thing. As you make your way down, you pass 1, 2, 3, 4, and before you've moved even more than about 100 paces, about 10 different street preachers on street corners, many of them wrapped round with parchments covered in small prayers, some of them dressed in little more than loincloths as they bellow into the skies about just how sinful all the people around them are. To a degree, they're quite clearly a form of entertainment to some. The more eloquent of them gathering somewhat of a crowd as they're sitting around eating whatever it is they happen to be eating, drinking whatever they're drinking, as a fight breaks out behind them, or in the distance you continue to see the smoke rising from where the riots are occurring in the centre of the city. You have to push your way through occasionally because it's relatively busy. Think of any place on a busy night when you're out on the town for a drink. It's somewhat like that, but it's still relatively early. But even at this hour, the folk are out. That's what you're pushing your way through. I presume that the father's pushing first since he's a big chap and strides with a certain amount of
He
confidence.
doesn't really know where we're going, but he'll do it with
Well,
confidence.
down the street of 100 taverns, apparently.
My lord, have you ever tried spit?
I mean,
She says as they pass a vendor.
Spit. Spit. It's hallucinogenic. It
Oh.
makes you see what you were told would be your wildest dreams come true. You did not like what you saw. You did not like what you saw. They are definitely not your wildest dreams. You do not like spit.
yes, I have. So I think it was sort of second, maybe third week of university when I first started. I was on an absolute bender, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody.
Drunken students go running by. Way!
Was it like that?
Basically that, yes. John T gave me some spit.
Excuse me,
that's not it.
Whitehead, you fancy a shag? Ah! As they pass by, they don't even wait for an answer.
I hate this place.
Like that. Good times. Good times.
She pulls her hat down.
Is there? There's plenty of drunk people here, right?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
there a opportunity for Yume to pick a pocket?
Gotta pick a pocket or two.
I-
Is there an opportunity? Oh yes. Are people relatively sensitive to it here? Yes. Your issue is not can you? It's should you, because you're aware that each part of Altdorf is segregated by whoever it is that happens to run the gangs there.
True.
However, you have a certain freedom of dispensation with your skills, perhaps. You can do what you want because you are, as you know, part of the cult of Ronald, the god of trickery, and you get off with a lot that others wouldn't.
Of course.
I tried it once, and I looked in the mirror and I saw my twin sister, and I said, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the woods of the Laurelon, ruling." And she looked at me, and she quacked.
Is your twin? Are you identical?
To my twin?
Yes.
No.
If I was just thinking you might have just been
We
looking
are
at a regular
very
mirror.
different people.
Right. Sure.
She is not here. I am here.
He meant physically.
Oh.
Ah, yes.
Like
I
in
forget
terms
you're
of
very
your
literal.
faces. Are your faces very similar?
Well, they are similar. Yes, they're similar. We have similar hair. Hers is blonde. Mine is, I would say, rose gold.
Right.
Hers is more like straw.
Move along, says a watchman to anyone that happens to be listening, as a small patrol of them just make their way down the street. They're not actually doing any policing in the slightest, they're just shouting move along as they pass through, making everyone aware that their presence is there.
That does make sense. It could have just been me in the mirror, though.
Sure.
I hope
Chairs,
I'm just asleep in the
tables
coach.
spill out deep into the street, which you have to go all the way around. And ahead, a larger crowd have all gathered around another priest who has stood on the shoulders of a very broad man. And he's wobbling a bit on the top of that, his grey hair hanging down to other sides. As his finger is thrust up into the skies, he shouts, "I see darkness gathering!" As he looks around, looks at you, and then just stops. And there is a moment where it looks like fear crosses his face. Look. Behold, I say shadows over broken heart and stir. As he looks at you directly. And it's enough for all the people in the crowd to turn around and look at the priest. Like so.
Step back. Adopt his stern, serious priest face.
As he goes, as the last house of joy falls. And he looks confused, as if he's not even sure what he's saying. That immediately taps into you. The last house of joy. Your family name, Jungfreud, means quite literally the house of joy. The last house of joy, in fact. They had an older name all the way back in the midst of time. Back in the time when it was clans and tribes and the Umberigans. The Umberrigan tribe that you came from, your people. And originally it was a far simpler house that effectively took great joy in the murdering of their foes, which in time became the House of Joy.
Wow.
There are many old households in the Empire that have got very old names, and when you look at them, their original tribal names were, let's say, more tribal. House Gorman, for example, the Gore Men, those who covered themselves in blood, tip to toe in red as they went to war. The things that you remember of your lessons when you were young, as you were going through each of the houses and where they came from. The last house of joy is not anything you expected to ever hear, though, because that's a family secret. It's just not widely discussed.
Would that be in reference to the current castle that the old man's held up in?
Who can say?
Okay.
As he continues. "Beloved Moor stands astride," he says, looking confused, almost as if the words are hitting him rather than necessarily being spoken by him. "Sigmar's great river. And behold, I can see death." On the right, he says. And he gets down off the man. And the crowd's roar around it. And he says, sorry! What are you doing?
Freaking out.
Is it, how close is he to us?
Well, the crowd that are currently sort of half booing because he stopped, but they're really easily bored. They're just moving on already. And he's just on the other side, standing beside the big guy that he was standing atop of.
Perhaps you should give him spiritual counsel. He seems disturbed.
Yeah.
You pushing through?
Yeah.
He looks at you. I despair! He says as he looks at you.
That didn't seem to help.
And he holds up his hand.
You're doing great.
Like so, and looks at it. Almost as if he's unsure why his hand is there. And you can hear echoes at the back of your mind. As flashes go, his throat getting slit. Images just hitting you from nowhere. And then he's back, looking at his hand. Looking at you. The stained hand, he says. Guides. The once mighty king. This power behind the frown. It curses us all. Father, it curses us. And he looks out at the crowds that are going around and then sees Birdie and points. Ah! Ah! And his bottom lip quivers and a tear hits his eye. Loud rat! He bellows. Climbs! The broken king atop his throne of lies! And then the white walls fall. And leaves our empire in ruins. Oh, and he looks at you. Father? The crowd is all round again. They are utterly enthralled by what he's doing. He gets down on his knees. Tremble in fear, ye mighty father, but the end times are coming! And he falls on his back. Crowd. He opens his eyes. Thank you very much! He says, thank you very much! He says, if you could just give it a donation, he says, as he straightens out his loincloth. He says, you know what it's like, Sigmar's always needing a little bit of extra coin. He says, so if you can just, here. And the big man beside him goes, ooh, puts down his hat. There we go! Silver please, silver please! As everyone gathers around and starts throwing in, mostly coppers. That was very impressive, says someone else.
It's a good performance. Very good, actually.
As he rubs at his forehead. Lovely.
Can Alan anyway do an intuition check
What for?
to see whether this is an act that seems genuinely disturbed and he's trying to cover it now?
The answer to that is you're not sure. Stinking humans.
Oh.
As he rubs his hands together and he says, Silver? He says, Father?
I think
He smiles. Well, what is it?
perhaps I can pay you more fairly in advice.
Sure.
Be,
Do you take exposure?
That's a big man. Oh, shut up.
be wary. There are those in this city that would wish those with your gift harm.
With my gift, he says, I'm quite the speaker. He says, it just comes to me, you know. I sit down and it just comes to me. I was going to be in the Varga Bruegel Memorial, but they turned me down. So he says, to the streets with me, to the streets. I think I earn more here than I'd have earned there. I think.
Almost certainly.
Yeah. He says, he looks down. Watch the app, will you? Yeah, don't worry, Gov. Yeah,
You might earn even more in Nome.
None? You think so?
I do.
Oh, they've got discerning taste in None.
They do.
He says, they do. I'll take that on advisement. Thank you very much, Father. It's getting a bit dangerous around here anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Oh, I don't care. As long as you pay me. Oh, of course I will. He says, well, move on. I've got another act to do. He says, right, as he does some stretches. And you make your way down the street of 100 taverns. As you reach the bottom, an enormous, almost wash of vessels can be seen in the river as you reach the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stacked 6 or 7 deep. The harbours themselves spread out in either direction, and further down you see one of the great bridges, another one over there with steam gushing out of its side as it twists round to allow a warship to glide by. In the distance you see an elven ship. Off towards the right, its great twin hulls gliding through the water and then drifting behind buildings of an island over on the other side.
Sinks back into shadow, looking slightly scared. Hides behind Birdie, who's actually taller than her.
Yay!
Just stay in front of me, Birdie, and look majestic. It won't be hard for you.
And you hear, "Hey, up, Leopold!" Of all the people to be recognised, they did not expect it to be Leopold. A big fellow with a big beard, hair hanging down to either side, a big fish earring. Looks at you and says, "Oh, it's been too long, my man." Comes out and gives you a big hug. Hug. He says, "Oh, what you doing here?"
Just passing through.
Well, that was a stupid question. What are you doing here? He says, "You're meant to be up midnight, mate. You said you're going to stay."
Well, I did.
Did it not work out? He says, "I've no idea. I don't know what."
No, it did. And he sort of taps his very peculiar tonsure on the side of his head. He goes, no, it worked out. I joined the Order of the Silver Flame.
Ha!
I'm protecting the sacred flame of Ulrich.
You never.
From afar.
Looks around.
Looks around. Name's Joseph. Joseph. Are you friends of his? Yeah, you're hiding.
Yeah, but Alamenawife is hiding behind Birdie. When he says he's protecting the sacred flame of Ulrich, she'll just look at Birdie and her white hair, and look at Leopold and be like,
Sticks out a hand and shake.
Oh, yes, certainly.
Shake. Excellent shake. Hasn't noticed you. As he says, "So, drinks?"
Yeah, we're just in the process of trying to find ourselves lodgings for the night, actually.
Oh, well, I'm staying in my barge, so ain't much I can help with you there.
Don't suppose there'd be room on that barge, would there?
Well,
That would mean we could combine the drinks
are
and
you
lodging.
paying, or are you guesting, or are you doing something else?
Well, I think we could certainly reimburse you for the
Then
discomfort.
I might.
And the alcohol, of course.
Yeah, but I'm currently hooked up over in the Rocks port, so it's a bit of a walk. I'm actually in doing a little bit of trade. Finished now, by the way. Nicely done. Didn't want to do it inside town. I mean, outside down in the Rocks port, because you just don't get as much. So I've got myself a new license out of Kemperbad, which has opened up some doors, he says. So, you know, I made myself a bit of coin this evening. So if you fancy a drink, it could be on me.
Well, I mean, it's the best offer we've had all day, right?
Absolutely.
He says, "All right then." He says, "I'm going there." And he points over towards an inn.
Sure.
You coming?
Yeah. Briefly glances at Gerhardt in case he looks at it with familiarity.
No, not in the slightest. This is down by the docks, not somewhere you would prefer to go.
Yeah.
before we go, can Alamenawife just look through her telescope? And at the elven vessel and see if she
It's already
recognises-
slipped
it's
behind.
already
It's already slipped behind. As he says, "Right, to the boatman in with us." Says, "We're gonna have ourselves a nice time, and you have got to tell me how you got your head shaved." He says, "Because that is something I want to know." And with that, we will stop. And before I go into our break, I have a couple of things that I'm going to say. Number one, we're aware that we've got sound issues on this mic right here. I'm going to go like mad trying to fix it afterwards. And apparently that one up there as well. Gotta love our beautifully professional setup here. We will do our best to try and resolve that. But beyond that, we will be back in around about 10 minutes. See you then. So we have hopefully resolved some of the sound issues in the break. There was a bit of a scrambling behind the scenes. We have a completely different producer now, sitting in production corner, as intern number 2 has slided, has gone in, and she's now working away in the corner, hopefully resolving all of the technical issues as we proceed. But beyond that, let us get right back into the action with perhaps a small introduction of, has everyone dropped their individual factoid yet? Because as we said right at the very beginning, everyone's got a fact that they're going to be dropping about their character through the course of this session. And we're going to be doing a poll about which ones were dropped and which ones you thought they did or did not do afterwards. Let's find out more if they're all looking at each other. So we're, with that in mind, we're going to be stopping a little bit earlier than we would normally stop, because we're going to stop our side and then we're going to record again with what they all think each other's individual facts were, and we'll post that video up after next week, so we can all see that one go live. So we shall pick things back up after Joseph and the band of particularly bold adventurers I've had a long evening drinking with the boatman. He had quite a lot of insightful things to say about the Emperor. What a fucker, for example. The whole idea of the mutant edict to him is bloody rubbish. He's not very impressed with it in the slightest. Indeed, he has some relatively unexpected claims concerning the nobility of the Empire and how they are potentially descended from the very worst that the Dark Gods have to offer, and they're responsible for everything that has gone wrong in the Empire.
Alamanwith nods sagely.
Which he claims he heard from a priest of Sigmar. He is, of course,
Not me.
relatively good friends with Leopold also. After several drinks, he's happy. He drinks wine like it's water, nicks it silly. He helps Elric get his way back, because by this point Elric will probably be out of his tree drunk. And you've got...
check.
Go for
I
it.
think he's pretty hardy. No, Elric. What is the LAWhammer term for shit-faced?
Well, you know how being
Because that's a
drunk
99
is...
fumble.
You know how being drunk in the real world in Scotland is steaming?
Yeah.
Well, I think the phrase for
Quite
you
literally.
is smoking.
Yeah.
Smoking drunk.
You're smoking drunk.
Smoking. Yeah, you're not doing frightfully well. And on the way back to his barge, which takes a good hour's walk all along the docklands and out through a gate which he has a pass for. He shows his papers, he takes everyone through. He's allowed to take passengers on, so he's allowed to take you out the city gate, down over towards the Reichsport itself, where his barge is the 9th barge in on a big tie-up of barges. You get to go over that. He pukes once, twice, 3 times in Elric. He's had
Way below my record.
he's had better and worse nights than this. Until eventually you're shown to his barge, net tight in amongst other barges, as I said. There are individual cabins. Each cabin has got 2 bunks in it, which you can apportion amongst yourself. He's got 4 cabins that he normally uses for passengers. And he, once you're all settled in and you're all quite, let's say, drunk or sitting over the edge going, why am I in Altdorf?
I will return the favour and hold his hair back.
Oh.
Says he did that for me on a barge once.
Yeah, he did. He's got a few quiet words for the father. So where exactly are you going? He says, because we're heading south. We're taking on our goods in 2 days. He says, well, there's a list. Altdorf is the worst. You've got to wait for the queues, get all the way through, but we're leaving in 2 days. I'm finishing off my deals with the merchant as tomorrow. So if you're willing to wait a couple of days, he says, we can maybe take you on, but it depends where you're going. I'm intending probably going down for the Schaffenfest.
Well, that sounds perfect.
Oh, right. He
What
says,
is the Schaffenfest and where is this
Well,
thing?
it's a large festival in the very town to which we are headed.
you what? You're heading down to Bergenhafen?
Yeah,
Well, it's a coincidence.
yeah.
don't
Says,
believe in those.
I'm glad I met you. He says, all right. He says, well, if you're willing to pig in, so to speak, I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to be employed? Who wants to be a boatman? And here we immediately stop and say, you can change career. You can become a boatman for free. If you become a boatman, you'll get paid on your journey down to Bogenhafen if you wish to do so.
Yeah.
Never be in the Navy.
In the Navy, I'll be earning some coin. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you'll be paid, and he pays well, because he deals with pretty expensive goods. He'll be paying at 2 shillings a day.
Oh,
Yeah, he pays well.
I presume this doesn't apply to Alamenawith, who cannot leave her career nor
No,
her.
you cannot change your career at all.
Can you pretend?
One of the joys of Alamenawith is that she's on a path that helps keep her in line as an elf. But that path means that she can never change career ever. She is fixed in one particular way of life, which means that she is always and forever will be a spy unless she comes off the path and enters all of the joys that brings. But I don't think she wants to do that. So you are going to be a spy one way or t'other. Lovely. So, boatman career. If you wish to do so, you're now boatman. And those who say yes will be paid for the journey down. Those who say no will be paying for the journey down.
Oh.
No. I'm a wizard.
yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're a very good one.
Does Elric's puke come out like very hot?
It's,
Just like
yeah,
Steaming.
it's
Oh,
even
God.
worse smelling than you can imagine.
Guys,
Fury.
so
Yeah.
without going into
Definitely.
any great detail, channelers of actually, which is red magic, hot magic, have some problems. One of those problems is that most of their bodily fluids run hot.
Oh,
That means they do not make good sexual partners.
no.
Because
Or conversely, in cold climates,
marvelous. They're
till we get to Kissland.
there you go. Perfect. Yeah, they run hot in general. It's not boiling, but it can be if he's really excited.
worse.
Is that the origin of the phrase, that really boils my piss? Is that like a bright wizard curse?
Never even reached the ground. It just turns to steam.
Untraceable.
So, in terms of his puke, it is quite literally steaming, and drying out quite quickly as well. And laced with red wine too. What a smell! Gotta love it.
It's over the side, right?
Yeah, except for the times he was sick on the way back. How much does he keep inside him? Where does it all come from?
Yeah, I mean, I'm reasonably confident he spewed up more than he drank over the course of the day.
He drank a lot.
Had a bottle of wine before.
It leads for a marvellous night asleep in the barge. Next morning, maybe afternoon.
No, he gets up early.
He does. I
Yeah.
think that's fair. Let's see how well he fares. Oh no, he fumbled.
Yeah, he's not hungover.
He gets up in the afternoon, which will give him a bit of a shock. He'll be like, I've got up in the morning, I feel bad, but he'll feel like it's really quite early. It's not, it's early afternoon. You tried waking him up. It wasn't happening.
Did we foot shove him repeatedly?
He was foot shoved, and foot shoved again. He groaned a little bit.
I'll hand push him.
You're very generous.
Yeah.
He will have spoken in his sleep.
Oh.
And he'll be having like frantic movements and just his hands are above the tip of the blanket, but he'll be muttering. You'll hear things like prophecy, it's fucking bullshit. Just little things like that.
Alamenawith will watch him and be there when he wakes up.
So, an early morning, prayers of a different kind, heading off into the docks, having a little wander around, perhaps even pick a pocket or two. Feel free if you wish to do yourself. You've after all got to pick up coins for Ronald. 1 in 10 goes to him. A certain amount of impatience because you want to get going.
No, absolutely not. I'm slightly hungover and I am in the city.
You're not at the moment. You're in the Reichsport, which is outside the city walls.
But an area of
Very much so.
civilization.
Yes.
One will be getting a good morning calf where one can.
Absolutely can as well. And in particular in the Reichsport, they've got a whole host of cafes, for want of a better description, from all around the world. So some of the best calf you've ever had in Altdorf is out here and served by the Kislevites. And and it's good. It's proper black and thick and hot and warm, and they serve it interestingly with ice pepper. Quite a unique flavour. Imagine menthol, sort of, but sort of close to pepper.
Yes.
It's an odd sensation on the tongue. It chills and it causes a chill to spread through the mouth, and it goes really well with hot coffee, unexpectedly so. In the same way that sometimes a minty chocolate works really well, the ice pepper coffee is quite unlike anything else, and it's cheap. They serve it in large quantities, and it's definitely something that everyone will be surprised of if should you bring it back to them.
Absolutely. As much as humanly possible to carry.
Alamena, I feel that's Birdie. Birdie, what is a good...
Chuck a couple of shillings in.
What is a good early meal when one has poisoned oneself and fallen into insensibility?
Well, I was going to suggest making himself sick, but he's already done that, and that doesn't seem to have helped.
I think it would be nice if we were there, waiting for him when he awoke with his favoured early meal.
Well, when we were travelling with Dara, did I mention her? She was a dwarf we travelled with. Turned out she was royalty.
I met her.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Sorry, I'm also slightly hungover.
She was old. She was younger than me, was she? Or she was quite young.
Most folk are.
Oh.
Yeah.
But not dwarves. Anyway, Dara.
Yeah, when we were on the road with Dara, we may have drunk a little bit too much every now and again. He tended to favour stew, I'll be honest. I bet we could get some really good stew for him if we went digging around here.
Alan and I look visibly deflated. That means I have to sit. Right, let's get stew.
Porridge and bacon. That's what you want for a hangover. Porridge and bacon.
I don't think a wizard would like porridge and bacon.
Only one way to find out.
So are you purchasing something to wake up your favourite Elric with?
Well, actually, because he's going to take so long to wake up, I would reckon that Gerhard will probably be back by then. And I'll wait. I'll see if Gerhard will give me some of whatever he's brought back. Yes.
You wish for some of this?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I sort of bought it for myself, but
all of that.
I thought you brought it so we could all partake.
Oh,
Yeah, a bonding ritual.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes,
Very
this
sad.
is for everybody.
I would like
Just
I would
this
like
part.
you to make some.
Right. I'm sure I can do that. I must say, actually, while I do this, I had a thought around a new song based upon your seeing your what you told me about your hallucinations. I think I might begin some sort of work on it as we travel, but it should be quite good.
I don't think it was a hallucination, but I agree.
Very much so. Yeah, I'll smash out some coffees for everybody.
Marvellous. You wake up to the smell of hot coffee. Calf is not. Wow. And you can almost smell the dampening effect that it has on your magic. You can't decide whether that's a good thing or. No, it's a bad thing. It's a really bad thing. As Alamena wife is holding it in front of you with such a happy look in her face.
Where's Birdie? Is there stew?
I told you so. I'll be right back, Elric.
Heading off. Grab yourself. That'll be 4 coppers.
Well, I need to borrow some money.
Okay, no worries. I'll
Alamena
easily cover this.
sample it herself then.
It's certainly a unique flavour, both hot and cold at once.
Thanks, boss.
No worries.
Chuck it in. Marvellous. Yes.
I rolled 2 successes on my side of him.
That is enough. You have picked yourself up 3 shillings and 6pence. In fact, there's let's make it 3 shillings and 4pence because there's 4pence sitting right in the middle here. So it was almost like it was meant to happen. So there's your
Woo, free money!
there's your pick, and undetected, completely fine. Awake last, crawling out of the cabin that he'd spent the night with your good self, comes Lucas.
Oh.
As he comes out, one eye. I know we're supposed to be doing things, but does anyone by any chance have a... His hair is like that, and it's all over. Brush.
Oh,
Of course.
I made the mistake of looking over the edge of the boat, and I don't look particularly good.
I pull out my grooming kit.
Here you
Oh,
go.
quite literally, brilliant.
I feel like Lucas
Thank
has
you.
a comb over.
Thank you. He does. Balding, and the brush makes such a difference. Oh, there we go. Oh, I feel like myself again. He says, "Right, so agenda for the day: trying to find an elect account apparently, and petition him to, under the guise of course, adventurers. That would be our routine. But petition him to find out exactly what's our plan going to be. What are we even going to say to him?
Lucas.
The reality of it is now making me pause."
No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. The mind can sometimes boggle in the face of adversity, and luckily today, the mind is running very fast. So,
Just while you're thinking,
I don't need to think. I know.
can I have my schemer question?
Oh, of course. Schemer question. Go for it. What's your schemer question? While she's deciding the schemer question, carry on over there, Gerhard.
Okay, I have no plan at all, but I'm going to roll a law politics
Never stopped
to
you
see
before.
if you can give me something.
I certainly shall.
Of a plan. 20.
No,
So
no,
2
it's
successes.
not too bad. Right, you have looking at it as objectively as you can, a real problem, and that's that the best route in is also the most dangerous.
Right.
And the best route in is being who you are.
Yeah.
It's also the most dangerous because that might turn you into a political prisoner. It's quite likely the elector account might just go, well, this will be good leverage that I can lever. So you might be better, you think, following the adventurer route, finding out exactly what sort of response that gets, and then, as the best plans tend to go, wing it.
Okay, fine. So, here's the plan. Have you thought of your question yet?
Anyone got any ideas for a question that would be really useful to ask?
Maybe
How close he is to the Jungfraus, whether he would want to.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
I was thinking that, but I thought Gerhard. Well, no, you probably wouldn't know that.
Well, it's
No.
maybe more like in terms of if there's a continuum between Karl Franz and the Jungfrauds, where is he on that line?
Yeah.
Where do the Tassenings sit?
Yes.
They do not. They are noted for having significant issues with the Imperial line. And the reason that they have significant issues with the Imperial line is because the Imperial line has constantly supported, broadly speaking, Talabheim. Ostland was once a part of the Ottoman Empire, which was a separate empire within the empire 200 years ago, before it was bound together by Magnus the Pious. And as far as Talabheim is concerned, it's still part of their land. They tax it terribly, they really treat it badly, and the imperial capital has done nothing to stop this. There's a large barrier between the capital and Ostland, and it's Talabikland. And to make matters worse, Talabheim rules Hochland, a large province to the north. But it's basically one giant barrier between the two, and it holds it tightly, very tightly, ensuring that Ostland is effectively almost like a subservient state to them. Their only real trading partners are Kislev because of this, beyond what Talabheim allows.
Do they? What Lower Empire? Do they border with Middenland, Ostland?
Ostland goes all the way around and borders with Middenheim, which rules Nordland, and it rules Middenheim. So all of Nordland and Middenheim, and indeed the Laurelorn, borders with Ostland up to the north. So yeah, back around the Middle Mountains. So how receptive is he to the Emperor? Given what the Emperor's just decreed, you imagine he's probably livid. Because they are strong Sigmarites, the Ostlanders.
My family's land borders with Ostland. and
Yours family doesn't, Nordland does.
Oh, Nordland.
Laurelorn there, chunk of Nordland, then Ostland.
Fine,
But-
it's all our land.
But yeah,
You can find it, it's not.
I'm quite happy for that assumption to be the case.
My family's land borders with the land of the East, and the von Tassenings do not. They are not. Well, I imagine he will be livid because of the slights the Emperor has cast their way in the past
Okay.
over the taxes that Talabheim the Talabek landers, repeatedly impose upon them, despite them having their own grand province.
Grand
So
Princedom, in fact.
I think he would be
good for us,
probably
then.
receptive, but perhaps we would need to get in first so no one could see him being receptive.
Yes.
That being the case, you have one concern.
Okay.
The only way that you'd make good out of this would be to make promises on your father's behalf.
Right.
In that, it would be something along this, and you can already see it forming in your mind. Hi! You know that Emperor, he's bad news. Have you considered a different, let's say, ruler in the Reichland? My father's currently a bit upset. They're banding together down there.
That's too far.
Yeah, indeed. But that's what's going to happen. Because that's what's going to happen.
No, that's open rebellion. That's
Exactly.
That's not a good thing to do.
But today, of all
Secret
days,
rebellion.
is a good day to do it.
What?
Because of the mutant thing.
The mutant.
Well, no, I understand that, and there's a certain level of questioning what's being done, but open rebellion is a very different thing. That's
What about-
lots of people do. We had this discussion.
What about using an intermediary?
Lucas.
No, your brother-in-law.
No. No.
He could say things
no,
on
no.
your behalf. Of
No,
your
no, no,
behalf,
no,
and
no,
it
no,
would
no,
not be- no.
No. So, listen. Brother-in-law. It's got a stupid name that I cannot remember.
Absalom. Absalom Trot.
Thank you. Absalom
Trotty, as you used to call him back in the League of Car fans.
Is
That's easy to remember.
look, I know sometimes you think that I might be a little bit coarse and direct, or less than stellar when it comes to conversational pieces. He is very much a hammer to all nails, or things that aren't nails. Doors, people's heads, anything that is in front of him. Rocks, even. No, absolutely not. And also, we don't really get on.
Oh,
Maybe should have led with that.
Yes, that too. Well, no, he's a trot, so, scum. I shouldn't have said
but
that.
he's your brother-in-law.
Well, yes, law. You don't have to. I mean, you don't have to love your own family, to be honest.
But why would your father marry your brother into scum?
Well, that's a good question to ask. So, it's
They have the
Trots-
largest mercenary force in the Empire.
Lucas.
Oh, that would do it.
You have this predilection to say 1,000 words where 5 will do.
True, but I really need to establish it's just for the troops. Okay, there's nothing to muddy the waters of the bloodline. Awful stuff. Especially with the Trots. Ugh. This is why we need to get back, and I need to fix that all out. Really.
You think you can fix a deal your father put in place?
No, not that necessarily. Just to make sure that father isn't put into any other awkward situations where he makes another not
Well,
bad decision,
in
but
case he marries off another son.
all that.
Does
I mean,
this
one might
guy?
argue that's more likely to happen if you do return my love.
You might like this headline from the Soul then.
Oh, for God's sake!
It's on page 2.
page 2.
And he
Right.
passes it
I'm a
over.
little bit disappointed that my death was only on page 4 and this is on page 2.
It is on page 2. Apparently,
Mm.
Zenneker Trot, the Duke of Tame, is in Altdorf.
Okay.
And he is publicly saying that he supports the Duke of Ubersreich's position.
Wouldn't he?
Indeed. And intends to speak to the Emperor about the unfortunate circumstances that are currently unfolding in the Sudenvorbergland and how he intends to put forth an alternative plan, which, of course, the Emperor, in his addled state, as it says, addled state,
Whoa, that's big claims.
okay, may refuse. And if that's the case, then, as it says, and the soul most certainly is not a salacious rag that's just filled with nonsense, but as it says here, then there may need to be a certain reorganization of affairs. Apparently a quote from one Zenneker Trot.
Bloody hell. Okay, so this basically is very close to just open rebellion, as
Well then,
one should be read and said. But I will not be the person that triggers that. And Leopold, we've had this discussion.
Indeed.
Lucas could.
No, Lucas
No.
can't.
No, he's your speaker. No.
But,
Yes,
but
he is.
if Lucas acts in proxy of his lordship, it's
The
he is
same.
his proxy.
It would be me saying
it is
it.
his responsibility.
It's what I was saying regarding this situation. Almost certainly, if he approaches the Elector Count, may end up with him making promises on behalf of his father, because there's good. What I don't think the young lord realizes is that the rules are all made up.
And speaking of,
And most of those in power are quite used to just doing whatever they want and justifying it later. And if he is being ignored by the Emperor, it's quite likely he'll be in a position where he wants to not be. I mean, it seems obvious. And there would be a route towards that, but I don't think it would be a route that anyone would like. I can almost feel Magnus the Pious turning in his grave at the thought of it. He did bind the Empire together, after all, after a rather fractious, difficult place where your family was in support of the Volfins at that point, a king, King Volfin or something similar, before Magnus brought them to heel. That much is well known. That was 200 years ago, and I don't think anyone wants it to return to that. But the Emperor is making some very strange pronouncements.
well, have you read this story? The one.
Which
yeah,
one?
This one.
Yes, I've read that. That's why I passed it to you.
No, this one about his son.
Oh, no. No, I haven't read that one yet.
Look at that. Says
Oh, my God.
yes, exactly.
What?
Oh, my God.
Somebody read the words.
Don't let me come
He's
over
just
there.
disinherited his son.
He's not so. I mean, to a degree. So technically, he's still
Oh,
Gets
no.
Altdorf.
Not entirely.
Who?
the emperor. The emperor has disinherited his son, which again,
Leopold.
yes, a namesake. No.
His son, Prince Leopold, Crown Prince Leopold, is no longer Crown Prince Leopold. He's only apparently he's only in line now to inherit Altdorf and has been banished to the West March. I mean, he's been trained to be an emperor.
I mean, he again. I've met him too. Bit of a dick as well.
My lord, thankfully we're on a barge.
No, I know. But
did
I
you
wouldn't
meet
say. Don't say that outside.
Where did you meet?
Which bit?
Everything else but the bit of a dick part. Where did I meet him?
Were you at university together?
Yes. We again in the league. So
Sweet naive lord.
yes, in the league with him. Until I left, obviously, and started the Caradre, which obviously went very well. Yeah, I told you this.
So you know him?
Well,
What is he like?
I mean, bit of a dick.
Which bit?
Oh, I see. Yes, very droll, very good.
It doesn't really befit a priest to be so.
He's on a
No,
barge.
it does.
You know,
I'm
nothing.
a boatman now. Can't learn me salty language.
I think bargee is the term. A bargee.
That's a small songbird.
Oh, right. Perhaps I'm wrong.
It could be.
Or a
So-
person who is being barged by somebody.
The bargee.
The barger.
I see. Yes, the barger. The person being
Barge, I
barged.
was doing it, the
Or
barge is the
someone
one
who is
correct
trying to
stuff.
get a drink in a crowded inn.
Yes.
So you know the Crown Prince, and that's a thing. And he's been disinherited. And did you read who he's put in his place? His nephew. It's not even the same household.
Well, no,
He hasn't even adopted him.
that does
This
make
whole
sense.
big Abenauer. I mean, what's going on in the palace?
I was thinking this morning, as my head was cleared by this fantastic drink.
It is very good.
Overslept. What about if the emperor is not the emperor? What about if what is happening, what we saw on the road is also happened to him?
Oh.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Well, I know, it blows the mind.
I mean, it does. I mean, who could do that sort of thing?
That person on the street was shouting about the power behind the throne. You know, maybe there's someone.
Oh,
But-
we never spoke about that,
but-
did we?
More.
He. That was real, right?
Well, I know he was good.
No, I felt it. I also had a vision of him getting his throat cut. But it was real. There was something. Yeah, there was a power there. I don't know who it came from, but that was real.
Did we? You saw him getting his throat cut.
It was.
I'm going to interrupt here and do a quick little aside. All of our characters have something that normal Warhammer Fantasy roleplay characters don't. Well, I say all of them. This one over here does. The elf doesn't have one. It's only a human thing, and that's chaotic blood. This is something that those of you who've been following us on the blog might be aware of. And every one of our characters are a little bitty touched. They're a little bitty different. Now, this is something you see a lot in the novels where, say, for example, Rosanna Ophuls, who was capable of touching stuff with psychometry and learning things from it. Or Conrad, the hero from some of the original novels as well, who had 2 different coloured eyes, one which could see things before they occurred, giving him an opportunity to get out of the way just before the blow that he'd seen came in. And all of our characters have got little tweaks, little traits, little things that make them different, including being a giant. For example, the good father over there, Andy Leask, his Leopold has got the ability to have oracular visions. And sadly, all of his visions are pretty much the same just now. But I'm sure that can come out at a later date, because those visions are not exactly good for the mental health. So, oracular visions, and apparently, he saw a vision of the poor chap having his throat cut.
Well, I mean, with the things he was saying, it doesn't seem very unlikely, you know?
And more pertinently, did you not say that the Emperor didn't?
Oh, yeah, that guy that was in town yesterday, that wasn't the Emperor.
Oh, I mean, he uses proxies regularly.
Yeah, whether it's a proxy that's very well disguised, or whether it is completely a different person who's in power now, I don't know. But
You mean he uses body doubles?
Oh yes, quite regularly. In fact, I remember once he was pretending to do like he did yesterday, one of these street performances, and then he even got his griffin flying around the top of the city, and of course, who would else be flying his griffin except him theoretically, but you can't be in 2 places at once, can you? So one of them's got to be. Do you remember this? The broadsheets were rife with it.
I'll admit I did not hear this one.
Well, maybe you weren't here.
I mean, I was back in Coxwold at that time, probably.
Right.
So no, probably not.
Didn't get up all the way up there. It was quite amusing for sort of a
Nothing
week.
got up there, if I'm honest.
Elric, blearily eyed, will look up and go, I can't believe you are taking the word of a street performer as something that is true. Surely, Father, you have more knowledge than this.
Yeah, I do. Significantly more knowledge than you, as it happens. This isn't about magic. This is about the gods. That man was touched by the gods. I can sense that. You can sense magic, right? I can sense that he was touched by the gods.
I can also sense bullshit. And I've dealt with enough of it in my life of prophecies.
Respectfully, you can't.
You don't know. You don't know what I was prophesized to be, and here I am dealing with people who are believing a street performer who said it was an act, who asked for silver, and we're putting faith in what he said. Yeah, I just don't get it.
And perhaps I do know more about what was prophesied about you, but I know you don't want to talk about that, so we won't.
Lucas drinks his car.
Yeah, eat your stew. Stop fighting.
You should crack a raw egg in that.
So-
It really helps.
So I think that we should go and speak, or at least present ourselves there, find out what the lay of the land. But everything else does make it look like you'd be a potentially very powerful ally, even if he doesn't necessarily know who we are. But if we've made the introductions and possibly we're at least in the circle, we might be able to push it for something later.
I mean, there is another option.
Mm-hmm.
He's heading south, right?
Yes, according to the...
We also have another reason to head south. Maybe we catch up with him not in Altdorf, not in the wolf's jaws, so to speak. Makes us less likely to be taken prisoner.
Yes. We'd need to know exactly where he was going, though.
Well,
Or I suppose we could go and meet him now, attempt to meet him, without giving away who we are, but just with our clear and sheer brilliance, be the ones that get employed by him and arrange to meet him outside the city when we can then tell him who
Have
we
an
are.
in, so to speak.
I mean, we have a wizard and a blessed priest, apparently, and
you may.
you may, and Birdie. I mean, and of course, an elf.
That's fucking bullshit.
That would count against us, the elf part. Yeah, it's true.
It would not, amongst the noble folk of the Empire. And of course, above all, we have Gerhardt, who fights with a rapier like no one I've ever seen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, it's just that.
It's not necessarily a compliment, my lord.
It is. Please, it needs to be.
We've had trouble getting audiences with people from Delbairs. Why would a lector count?
Because he's advertised it.
Yes, he is expecting.
We've got this.
But didn't you say that there were queues?
Well, that's what they said.
Yes,
It's in the sheet.
I'm
but
also
he's-
not a full wizard just yet.
But soon. Believe in yourself, Elrin. We'll be there to cheer you on. Is that allowed?
No.
No.
Because
That's
Birdie
okay.
and I would have come.
Absolutely.
I probably would have also arrived as well.
Yes.
You would not.
No?
No. I'll be doing that before we go.
Well, we will pray for you if that is appropriate.
Whatever you would like, it'll be as quick as I can make it.
Right. So, perhaps then we make our way over to Gulna Hill. We try to find an inn. If we get one, we get one. If we don't, then we approach them later, in the hope that we can get an opportunity to approach them later. Right. That seems to be a plan. I mean, that would involve us crossing over. I mean, I don't know. It might be difficult. We could just get a taxi. We'll hop on one of those and let them worry about avoiding all the riots.
I mean, it's quite a good service.
Yeah.
Obviously, originally comes from Ubersreich.
Does it?
Yes, the whole idea of a taxi service, somebody coming along, picking you up. In fact, for a while it was referred to. I'm going to say it.
I was trying to hold
As
on.
an Uber.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
Oh, terrible.
Oh, well.
Just trying to get that sponsorship money. If you're listening.
And on that bombshell, they get a not Uber. 2 hours later, across town, having made their decisions to at least give it a go. And the tension in the city is clear. The atmosphere is febrile. There are many who are clearly just out for a fight. In fact, it's fair to say that of all the people who are rioting, the vast majority are rioting because they can. They've got an excuse. It is time to hit the streets with their fists and punch people. Yeah, this is the best. Get all their mates around in a gang and just punch. Various gangs have hit the street and they're patrolling around having the time of their life. The Watch have got a nightmare because, broadly speaking, they've got to protect the Imperial Palace. And that's what they're doing, along with the Imperial 1st Regiment of Foot, along with the Reichsguard, along with a whole host of other knightly orders, some of which are galloping around the edges going, should we really be involved with this? Should we not? No one has given an order to say, stop this nonsense, presumably, because inevitably that would be fatal for probably quite a lot of people. So instead, there's just lots of shouting and chanting and burning in the centre. Fortunately, something that you can avoid. As you make your way around it, cross over by the High Temple, the Cathedral of Sigmar
Can we avoid
itself.
that too, please?
Well, can you what that
Can
to?
we avoid that too, please?
Yeah, we can go around that, went down the bottom of the Imperial Mile that links the two, the palace through up to the Temple of Sigmar. Past that, over down, over the bridges, all the way through the merchant parts and up towards a rather impressive taxi of 7 shillings and 7 pence come the end for whoever is doing the paying, plus a tip, of course. Your taxi driver has been a charmer. Just give us the money, will you? No, I don't know where you're going. I don't know where you come from. I don't care. I just want to be paid.
Lucas?
That's your money if you're wanting Lucas to do the payment.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
You hold Lucas's purse, so to speak.
He held
Lucas
to
holds
us.
your purse, so to speak.
How much did you say?
7
7 shillings and was it 6 pence?
I think 7
7 shillings. That sounds good. That's 8 shillings will do.
Oh, my
Getting
God.
lighter.
That's
very
6
carefully.
in it.
Counts everything out. Excellent.
Some coins you're
and
not
see-
wanting to show on the table.
As,
Keep your eyes
Ah,
on
no.
your.
thanks very much, milady.
I need one more shit.
I can
At the estates, which it turns out are the Von Ostland estates. Anyone with lore heraldry?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see what you know about the Von Ostlands.
Oh,
success.
One.
6 successes.
Okay, so you know that the Von Ostlands are once the royal family of all Ostland. That's it. They are enormously rich because they work with the Talipheimers. They completely work with them, hand and fist, all the way through. Almost all the taxes go through the Von Ostlands, and the Von Ostlands have become super rich because of this.
Okay.
They work very closely with the ruling families of Talabecland and Talabheim, both of which are just across the water from them. The Von Ostlands hold palaces in Altdorf, and currently there is no heir. And the fact that the Tasninks are here is interesting. You don't know what the politics here will be, but if the Tasninks are residing here, there must be at least good relations going on, you'd presume. They are, after all, the Electrocounts. They are the ruling family.
So, just for clarity, the Von Ostlands,
Yes.
they are basically milking their own people, but through Talabheim and Talabecland.
Mhm.
Excellent. Glad that I'm up to speed on that.
Yeah, indeed.
After all.
Yeah, totally. And whilst all the taxes may inevitably go up to the Electrocount in the end, most of the actual money getting spent for goods passing through are getting siphoned off. You could, looking at it now, seeing this, and putting a little bit of 2 and 2-edge, go, well, at least a lot of the money is staying in Ostlander hands. So perhaps they're attempting to build bridges there and remove them away from the Talabheim connections. Who can say? And there is a queue, a significant one, almost contrary to the newspapers, about 100 people long. Various groups standing around, some in armour, some with weapons. There's an elf.
Oh.
There's two. There's there's 2 dwarves. The elf is an azure, a high elf, with a big tall helm on. The 2 dwarves are sitting there looking at each other. Most of them are humans. And assuming that you decide to join the queue, you'll be at the back of it. Ahead of you is a group with a human. 2, 3, 4 humans, pardon me. One of whom has got red hair, the rest have got black hair. They've all got their arms folded and they're yawning. One of them is eating a sandwich.
Right. Excuse me.
Looks up. Yes?
How long have you been waiting?
We've been waiting here an hour.
Okay. Thank you.
Says, the queue's moving. Says, I wouldn't bother, I'll go if I were you. Says,
Fair enough. Birdie, if it all goes to shit, kill him first.
Okay. I
harsh.
will, my lord.
Are you up from Nome?
Says, I am. How'd you know?
Because you sound like you're from Nome.
I don't have an accent. To the side goes, yeah, you fucking do. No, I don't. You've got the accent. Well, you're...
Did you come up here specially for this?
No. Says, was in the pub, saw the thing. Gathered me mates, and we're here. With your accent. Don't have an accent. Wow. Looking at the mountainous nature of the parties over him. You're certainly a group. So, your friends, pals?
I have bled for him, so we are bound.
Right.
Sure, Scott. It's just like still healing.
You still got.
I know.
You're still
I know,
nose.
that's my scarf.
That's why the scarves are up.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. We might be here for a while. Turns out it's 6 hours.
Oh.
But the queue does move very slowly, but they're apparently doing relatively proper interviews. 6 hours. It's early evening by the time that you're ready to go. There's been several moments where you've wandered off in an attempt to find food, to evacuate your bowels, or do some other equivalent deed. But after 7 hours, you're eventually at the front. Bull-headed soldiers. Well, it's not they've got bull-head. They're not marked with bull-heads. Bright
Fine,
red
illegal
bulls
now.
on their chest. Uniforms of black and white, and every single one of their arms has got a single yellow sash around it. Eventually, one of them approaches you and goes, "You are ready, duh?
Well,
Who is leader?"
Well, I suppose that would be myself.
He says, "You are noble. What name do I use?"
You can use this name that I've forgotten. That's one. Thank
Caster
you.
Lieberang?
Caster Lieberang.
He says, Caster Lieberang.
Correct. Yes.
Hmm.
Don't forget it.
Lieberang party, please follow me. And he goes in. You are led across an open courtyard into an astonishingly nice entrance hall. Wow, you didn't expect it to be quite so nice.
No, this is good.
Paintings on the wall of many a rather fat and stodgy man. Some of them look like they've been purposely posed to gently disgust. One of them has really, really scraggly hair and manages to pull the most baby-faced of them all if the baby was really upset and almost, but not quite, about to cry.
Strange.
They are an attractive group.
God, please tell me that these were all painted in a period in which the ruling family was so ugly that all painters had to paint people badly.
A call comes across the hall from the gallery up above. No, they're just my ancestors.
nice one.
And up there is a man who looks like he's perhaps been mixed with a baby at some point. His fat cheeks are just a little bit too wide. His eyes are a little bit too... It looks like he never properly grew up, but somehow he's a man. He has a ring of hair going around his chin, as if that somehow makes him look less babyish, but it more acts like a frame. Preserving the roundness of the face and completely defeats what you presume was the attempt. It is a bit thicker at the sideburns, but that's to try and counterbalance the fact that it's quite bald on the top. As he looks down, you the Lieberang party.
Yes, very much so. That is us.
Well, get your insulting little asses up here, he says. Come on, up the stairs, round the button. That's not that side, that's the woman's stair. You take the woman's stair, you take the men's stair. You've got to go the right way. Come on, up.
Okay.
He says, you have to speak to my father.
Right, and you are...
Yes, I am. Now, come on.
Okay.
Says, I don't want to be doing this any more than I bloody have to. It's been a long fucking day. He says, no, you're not getting refreshments. No, you're not getting food. You're not getting anything. We're being fucking cleaned out by this. Absolute waste of time. Ridiculous.
Hair guard, I presume.
Looks at you. No!
Right, no, presumption wrong.
What? He says, no, absolutely not. Who the bloody hell are you? You'll be the Lieberang fellow, will you?
Oh, yes, very much
Lieberangs. Never fucking heard of you. Where are you from?
Oh, Andy, where am I from?
Who was right?
Oh, who was right? Yeah. That's why we chose this. Very good.
It's a small duchy in the Grey Mountains.
Further down south.
Barony, actually.
The Grey Mountains, sort of that pass between...
Where all the trouble is. Fucking mess it is. What a fucking mess it is. You know, they asked us for money. You know that? Bloody rude of them, I thought. Asking us for money. Nothing to fucking do with us. Father was livid. Actually fucking livid. You know, he came marching in, thrust the letters down to me like it was my fault. Gave me a fucking slapping around as well. Oh, fuck.
How old is this man? Oh yeah, no, sorry, I'm an elf.
He is definitely human. As he then opens the door. Father! And you hear from the inside, stop being an arse, I can hear you, halfway down the fucking corridor. He says, this is the noble group, yes, Lieberang, bring them in, let's have a look at them. And he looks up, It's a man in his 70s. Old, grey, with a really round face. His hair's hanging down, completely bald on top. As he goes, right. Looks at you. You're Southern, I can tell. He looks down, let's see. Pulls out a quill. Goes, right. So, you'll be the Lieberung fellow then. Come in.
Yes. What, on my own?
What's that there?
On my own?
He says,
All of us.
yeah, you can all sit in. I've got to mark down this. I'm doing a
Right.
bloody favour here, so I've got to do it properly.
Okay.
I only see the noble ones. And you're the noble ones, so here we go.
Who else
Watch
have
out
you
for my
seen?
son, he's been drinking all day.
Who else have you seen? If you only see the noble ones. Just out of curiosity.
I'm asking the fucking questions
fair
here. Who
enough.
the fuck are you? Fucking hell. Cross for attitude. Right. He says, shit your ass down. He says, and we'll go through what needs to be gone through. Right. So first, you would like to seek the employ of the Grand Prince's son. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, right. And you are aware of exactly what the remuneration is involved, yes?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. Oh, good. And can you read and write?
Yes, we all can actually.
Oh. Really?
Yes, very much so.
Well, that being the case, I should like some introductions. I'm now impressed. Says, so, if you could, Herr Lieberung? Lord Lieberung? Do you have a title? You are currently chasing your title, but if you've inherited or about to inherit it, then you would be a Lord Lieberung.
Soon to be Lord.
Oh, excellent. That's right here. Lord, excellent. Well, there. Go get the Lord a bloody glass of wine from the nice stock.
No.
And here,
Oh.
Father, for fuck's sake, that's my wine. He says, can you just fucking go back to Ostland? He says, no, I'm actually quite enjoying my holiday here. I didn't want to be here at all. I've been told to look after fucking Hergard. So I am. But he's pissed off, hasn't he? Bloody hell, what a waste of time. He says, right, you aware of what he's doing?
Hergard? Or...
Yes, Hergard.
Right. No.
Right,
Yes.
well. He throws his quill down. Seems my friend Hergard has decided that the entire empire is based upon a lie. He says, and he's off to prove it by delving into dwarven holds. He's quite convinced he's going to find the fucking hammer of Sigmar in the Grey Mountains. The one that our bloody emperor carries.
Right.
Exactly. Would you like me to translate? He's rich and bored.
Oh, okay.
And he's been approached by this most ridiculous, excuse me, seer. I've spoken to this seer, and might I just say that this seer is not fucking Sylvanian witch, is what she is, and it's just milking him from every bloody crown that she can get from him. So they're herring off, trying to hire the best of the best. They had some Bretonian phrase for it. I didn't like it, so I shan't repeat it. It was disgusting. I mean, it involved rolling around in cream or something. I mean, why would one do that? It was just absolutely disgusting. I mean, particularly, could you imagine him in off-soured cream? Why would one even do that? Why would you do that? Can you explain that to me, Herr Lieberung?
I actually think I might be able to, potentially.
Are you sure you want to? I thought so. So, that being the case, let's have a quick look around. What do we have here? And looks around. Let's start with. Should we go in height order? I like that for my notes. In height order. Wow, it's you. Yeah. What I require is your name and title, please.
Brunhilde Birgit Frost.
Right, very good. Brunhilde Birgit Foster. I imagine that's Fraulein. Are you married? No. Excellent. That will go down very well with Hergard. That will go down very well. You're hired. I joke.
I should probably add that I work as a rat catcher.
Rats. There's probably some in my son's estate.
I have considerable experience
Son!
with dwarven tunnels.
Comes out. He says, what? Like that. He says, well, you know, all your staff have been fired because you were wasting money, so I need you to find out what the rat problem is here. I'm going to holiday. Right. So, rats, you say. You're good at ratting, are you? Very good, very good. Example.
Well, as I said, I've got a lot of experience with dwarven tunnels. I come from Middenheim.
Right.
Spent a lot of time under the Stone Guild. How am I saying that
Stonecutters
right?
Guild.
Stonecutters Guild. 300 rats, not a one of them below 6 feet long.
What the?
And me and Meat Pie took the lot out single-handedly.
Well, that little dog?
He's stronger than he looks.
6 foot long rats?
Minimum.
That little dog?
Yeah.
What do you bite him on the nose or something like?
Well, he kind of distracted them while I stabbed him. You know.
I think there's a very high chance that the Grey Mountains will be infested with such creatures. Very good. Hergat will love that. I mean, he'll love you. That's all that really matters. Tick! Right. I can't decide. Which one's taller? I really can't decide. You're slung. You're far more straight back. I think you're taller. Right. Name, title, father. Would that be correct?
Father Leopold
What order?
of the Order of the Silver Flame.
Never heard of it. What order's that?
We're a warrior priest order based in Middenheim. We protect the sacred flame.
I would be related to Werner Stoltz, by chance, would you? High Capitular Werner Stoltz? High Capitular is he's the head of the order.
Did he just ask if I was related to him?
That's what it sounded like he said.
I'm an orphan. I'm not related to him, though.
Right, well, not like you looked like him or anything. It's just, you know, who else would be in his order other than his own children? I mean, if I had my own order, I'd proliferate it with my children, give them something to do, rather than just waste my money in this place. My new holiday home. Yes.
I am Princess Alamena Waith Shadowvale, meandering minstrel of Middenland. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oh, princess. Oh, he will love this.
All of us have shocked written across.
Oh, princess. Well, your Royal Highness. Very good. And are you married?
Elves and humans.
It is a sad tale, but I am not.
I'm not saying that Hergat has a thing for ladies, but the unmarried ones are the ones he likes, which is good. I consider that a character. The not a flaw. One of those. Everything that my son isn't. That thing. So excellent. The door opens. Father. Yes, he says. Partly rats everywhere. The cook, the one you fired, told me all about it. He says, what a shame. Well, good. We might have someone who can fix that.
How many? Do you know?
I don't know. Well, get counting. Father! He says, what? Money waster. Waster, out. I was taught that you should always treat your children like peasants. That was what my father did to me, so that's what I'm going to do to him. He had too much time, too much time in the bloody university. Got used to soft life here. You can tell, he's got the face of a pig. Actual face of a pig. I mean, I'm half convinced that his mother was perhaps a pig, although you'd think I'd remember that. But I don't. Officially. So, right. Marvellous. Good. Not you. You. Yes. So you're not yet Lord.
Well,
excellent.
yes.
Liberung.
Soon to be Lord.
There's a lot that can be said with the word soon. My son is soon going to be a good son.
Right.
But he's not yet.
And how do you intend to make him a good son, then?
Don't take the piss of my accent, boy. Or I... Interesting. Tell me, skills, what do you have?
Do you wish for my full name, or are you just Lord, soon to be Lord?
You've already given it.
You've already
Skills.
given it.
I said
Skills.
full name.
Skills.
Here we go.
Castor
Aloysius.
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 That's what I said. It's my name, I should know. Lieberang.
I would have a scribe note this down, but I sacked him.
Well, there you go. Foolish, really.
Well, I don't see any reason why we should. It's all about balancing the books. I see no reason why I should pay for these people when I can do it myself. My father used to do it himself. All the time. I go in, he'd be doing himself. And I'm taking that upon myself to do the same. So, continue on.
Skills, many, plenty, lots.
A
Good.
scholar, which will be good
And
if
that
we
as
are
well.
You're a scholar.
Dwarven
Yeah, oh
hold.
yes, very much so.
Scholar of Dwarven Hold, that's what we need. Very good. Right.
what was
Yes. So, you don't look like a scholar of Dwarven. Are you a wizard? He says, wait a minute. Excuse me.
Can it?
He looks at you. You're a wizard. We're Altdorf after all. That makes sense. Excellent. Wizard. Lieberung party has a wizard. Has wizard. Tick. That's enough. Oh, your name. I should get your name.
I have, yeah. I'm Elric Gunfeld.
Eric Gunfeld.
Bright wizard.
Gunfeld. Are you by any
apprentice.
chance related to Talther Grunfeld? Talther, you are related to
probably am.
about 6 of them.
Yeah, there's, as you know from where you are, there's a lot of us. It's a big family.
Well, Talther, very good friend of mine, served in my 3rd regiment for 10 years. Did a very good job. He could make vines just pop out of things. It was magical.
But
He's a wizard.
It may interest you that I also have served in one of your regiments very shortly.
Oh, really?
As
Really?
part of my journeying, I had to sign on. So,
Which one?
wasn't the second.
It wasn't.
No,
No, 3rd Regiment of Foot from Wolfenburg.
that one.
Not one of mine, I'm sorry to say.
Oh.
Says, born of bloody Raukovs. Can't stand the man. Waste of fucking space. Toadying Sigmarite person. I mean, not that that's bad, but, you know. Perhaps that came out wrong, Father.
I really like him.
I was
Right.
just thinking that.
I do not.
Little girl, are you the servant?
You were saying?
I mean, I've been wondering what to say anyway, so sure. My name is Yume.
You may.
Yume, yes.
You may what?
Gotsen.
Where?
From Altdorf?
I may go to... I'm so confused. Let's just run with little servant girl runs errands. Excellent. Right, so
Different generation.
Suits me fine.
we obviously have a few problems that we're going to immediately have to resolve. Number one is that the good Crown Prince has left. He's made his way southwards. And he is the one who has the purse, so you'll need to speak to him directly if you wish to be in his employ. However, he says, I do know where he's going, and I can not only tell you that, I can give you a letter of recommendation. I will have my son write it, because I am not doing more than I have to here, and I don't need to pay him. Excellent. So I will give a letter. Where are you residing?
I do not wish to cast aspersions on your, you have already admitted porcine son. But perhaps one of us could do you the service of being your scribe, so we know the words come from your mind and your mind alone.
Yes, you are literate, aren't you, all of you?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I should like to have it. Let me, I don't know where it is. I can't summon the servant because I sacked him.
What do you after? What do you need?
Paper.
Oh, I have that.
Parchment, perhaps.
And ink. I have that, all requirements.
Excellent. Well, I have my seal. We can organise this. He says, yes, we can organise this. He has a somewhat direct way of composing letters. Dear boy is how he opens it all up as you. I have just spoken to the fine Lieberung party. They even have their own girl to run errands. Have you ever seen such a marvelous thing before? And they aren't even paid because they're so desperate for money, which means that I think they'll be perfect for you.
Can I change everything that he's actually
You can
saying?
change to whatever you want.
He can write though, can't he? He can read and
As
write.
And also,
yeah, okay,
he
fine.
probably
Put a
has a
seal.
particular way about him.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. Don't worry. So,
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
And this continues on for about 3 pages. As he pass it over, gets a different pair of spectacles. As you read it. Oh, he'll love this. Right, so, yeah, this is perfect. Let me just.
and your name for finishing?
Jakob van Ostland.
Right.
He says,
Anybody
I've signed
else?
it already.
Yes. Yeah, brilliant.
He signed it. It's fine.
And he seals it with his ring. Excellent. There you go. He says, I will give you young ladies a warning. And he looks at the 3 of you. I don't know which I should warn most. He's a bit of a philanderer. He's married, but that doesn't really make much difference to him. He doesn't like his current wife because, as he somewhat perhaps inappropriately put it, I'm not sure she's enough of a looker to be a princess. So if you think that you're a looker, you could be royalty. He never would. Well, maybe. I mean, that would be an interesting union. Interesting.
You're already royalty now, apparently.
Takes his quill, notes down. Right, I will be sending a letter independently to his father, who is keeping track of everything. And we will, yes, make that known. Interesting, delightful group. The door knocks, and a soldier comes in and says, My lord. What? I told you I meant to speak through my son. We can't find him. Oh no, we sent him ratting, didn't we? Says, yes. Of course, you won't be able to find him. He's currently ratting. He says, we have another noble party. Another one? Well, what is this? He says, I'm going to have to open up a new page in my book. He says, another one? Oh, that's the 3rd. He says, does mean that the peasants are wasting their time then.
Is it possible to see in his book
Yes.
the name of the last party?
Sadly, your language scroll skill
I
isn't
do
quite good
have-
enough.
But bear in mind how bad Leopold's dexterity is. He's quite good at reading bad
I have
handwriting.
acute sense sight.
Yeah, you do have acute sense sight.
Although Reichspiel isn't my first language.
The names, right?
I still don't think you're going to be able to decipher his ridiculous
More
old man
codes.
hand.
More codes.
He normally doesn't do his own writing.
Is it? Could it be classed as scholarly?
It is not scholarly. That's, I think,
Opposite.
that's the issue here.
Oh well.
It's the doctor's chicken scratch analogy.
Yeah.
Can't use the joke twice though.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Stay quiet.
Yeah, cool. He says, right, well, that's that then. Look, I'm too old now. I've been told by my good doctor, he says, that I don't know how to keep my mouth shut anymore. Like that's somehow an affliction. And my ex-wife, she refuses to even come to see us now, which is why I think I'm going to move to Altdorf. Yes, that would be good. What I'm trying to say is fuck off. There's some polite ways to do it, and I'm aware there are. It's just, I don't care. He says. Also, if you see my son, tell him to come up. No, wait, stop! You, rat girl. He says, I believe we have a rat problem. You might want to be doing something about that.
Sure.
Excellent.
Have
Good.
someone show me to the kitchens.
Yes. Excellent. Good. He says, and you, he says, make sure you do what's right. Off you go.
All right, bye-bye.
As you are led from the palatial chambers down to the front halls, where there is indeed a noble waiting. Long, dark hair. She's sitting with her fingers thrumming against her chin. She sees you coming out as she says, "Are they ready yet?" And he says, "Duh." Can looks at all of you. Nods. A greeting. He says, "Come."
Does she have any heraldry?
She has none.
What's
She
her
is-
colouring?
Her colouring is pale of skin, dark of hair, and her dress, because she's wearing a dress, is white with red ribbons all the way through it. There is no obvious sign of a party that is with her, or indeed anything else.
Do we have
Anything give away in the accent?
It's definitely upper class.
The fashion?
Posh.
A
White
fa-
with red ribbons? Who's good with fashion?
Don't look
actually,
at me.
I'll let Gerhardt off in this one. I've done your role, Gerhardt. And you would guess that she's southern, probably from either the courts of Nuln, given her fashion choices, or alternatively, because Nuln often follows Averheim, possibly Averheim. Some of the very best tailors can be found in Averheim. They have an entire god dedicated to tailoring. So,
Yeah.
just checking where Averheim is. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Excellent. That would be fine if it wasn't for the other group that are sitting on the outside. A pair of priests of Sigmar. They are dressed with the robes of the Order of the Torch, both black, robed. They have red trims all the way around, and you immediately know that they are not from the Order of the Torch, because they have a medallion showing. It's the Order of the Cleansing Flame.
Oh no. It's not good.
They make inquisitors look friendly.
Everyone look normal.
might be a good time to go check out those racks.
Don't let them see the heresy. Don't let them see the heresy.
Both of them have hoods up, and upon seeing you come out, one puts the hood back, and the tonsure on his head is beyond elaborate. Flames down the side, an entire maze worth of language spiraling into the centre of his head, where there is a small circular spot without anything. And he looks at you and says, "Father Leopold, you are to come with me by order of the Grand Theogenist." Now, for those of you who don't know the title Grand Theogenist, it's a little bit like someone's just said, the Pope summons you if you're a Catholic. It's not easily denied, particularly when the Grand Theogenist seal is lifted and your name's on it.
I'm in trouble.
There is a coach waiting. You are to come immediately.
All right.
Looks around. I don't want them.
May I have just a moment to say farewell to them?
He looks round at the other. The other. He says, "Yes. We will be waiting for you on the crest of the hill. Do not turn." Pops off. Lucas, who'd been staying out the whole time, goes, "Whoop."
So,
Bet you didn't see that coming.
so I can't see myself, can I? Can't see my own destiny.
There is.
No, that's your twin.
Then they quack.
So I might be. I might not come back.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Luke,
You need
There's
us
only
to,
two
like,
of them. We could.
no, they're
Did you not see their tonsure? It's so much more elaborate than his.
I could totally do.
they're not from the Order of the Torch. They're from the Cleansing Flame. They're the ones that.
That means literally nothing to you.
Yeah.
They're the ones that
They're
anyone
clean.
hunt down heretics.
Oh.
Well, did you never wonder why I'm not in the Order of the Torch anymore?
Not really.
No, never crossed his
I
mind.
honestly assumed that you just had a change of thought. I don't really know how it all works. As you, well, I mean, I ask you many a time, and you tell me.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
still,
this is not about.
right.
It's not about the god. This is about the cult.
Do you want to go?
I mean, no, but I'm going to go because I have to go.
Well, I would suggest that maybe you don't want to tarry. So maybe pass over whatever you feel we should know about how we get rescue.
Well,
when they are torturing you,
I mean,
for
I
example.
don't know that you can. I'm hoping they only want me here for this. What was it, Lucas?
Oh,
Convocation
The
of six.
that?
Yeah.
Wait, and the head of your whole church is
Cult
sending
you specifically.
cult
There aren't many.
for all of you?
There aren't many of us that are blessed. Like, you all take it very much for granted that, you know, I can call upon Sigmar and he can empower my arm and you know, my hammer bursts into flame. That's not common. Most of us can't do that.
Oh, right.
And the Grand Theogenist very much wants control over them. And this is very much why I didn't particularly want to come back to Altdorf, lest he find out I was here. I'm hoping that's all it is. It might be because they found, you know, they not found out, they know, but they remembered what I did in Sal. So hopefully, so I was in the Order of the Torch. I was the priest of a temple, and Sigmar is very much the god of the Empire, right? And the Empire is everybody who's in the Empire. And I know that not everyone in my cult feels that way, and I know that many of my cult look down on the cult of Ulrich, say, but I don't. I know many of my cult look down on wizards, but I don't, right? The Empire is all of us, and like Loophole is getting increasingly agitated. And there is a whole pantheon of gods who have their areas of expertise, and Sigmar's domain is the Empire and the unity and us all coming together. But that's not everything. That's binding people together, taking their disparate skills and strengths that they all have and forging a party together that are greater than that. And that's very much how I saw the pantheon of the gods. And so when I was the priest of Sigmar in the town of Sal and there was a blight and the crops were dying, I thought, well, I can't do anything about that. But Dyrath, the goddess of fertility, she can. So on the holy day of Dyrath, I invited the local priestess to come in from the wilds, and we opened up the temple of Sigmar, and we, you know, festooned it with
This is very sensible.
gods. Yeah. The high priest in Ubersreich didn't think so. Nor indeed did the Lord, whose generous donation of a kind of various fancy pieces of golden artwork that I sold off in order to feed the starving people in my town. He didn't really approve of that either. So I left Ubersreich under something of a cloud,
So
shall we say.
You're in trouble for being a nice guy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, sure, we'll call it that.
I'm not feeling any better about the cult of Sigmar.
Yeah. So I'm hoping he only wants me for my input in whatever this is all about, but it may be that, you know, he wants me to, you know, punish me for heresy given what they've got. So
Well, that could
be
go.
worse.
Yeah.
Could
So
go
I suppose
both ways, yes.
this is a very long-winded way of me saying look after him.
You could
Don't
take
let
it
him
with
get into
you.
trouble.
It's been a pleasure knowing you. I hope
but
you don't
no,
die.
no, absolutely not. You will be back, without a doubt. There's no, it wouldn't happen to you. So of course you'll be back.
Your faith in me is moving.
Well, as you say, you actually you are one of Sigmar's chosen. So if the theologist says that you are to be punished, then he would be punishing one of Sigmar's chosen. So, you know, there's a position of argument. Take that, and you'll be back, I'm sure.
I hope the Grand Theogenist sees it that way. In case I'm not,
Right? Lovely.
Why would you not give that to Luke?
By Leopold.
Damn it!
actually,
Yes.
Lucas.
We'll never see him again.
He's already got it.
No.
My money's in there too, my lord.
Oh, is it? Oh, I
Yeah.
can't possibly hold that if that's the
Yeah,
case.
Lucas.
Lucas, if you could. Well done.
What a good throw.
It was very good, right? Strong arm.
I've probably
Lucas bends over. Oh my
I've
god.
probably let them tarry too long. But may Sigmar watch
You
over
make
all.
your way up and sit in. There is not 2 people inside the coach. There is 3. One in red robes, top to toe. His tonsure makes the others look like they've gone to basic tonsure school. it's quite ridiculous.
We're having a tonsure off.
Yeah, and he has hair that goes down the back, just from a band about an inch, goes all the way back, and he says, I see the darkness gathering as the last house of joy falls. Beware, beware, the shadows of the Bergenhafen stir. Then, he says as he looks at you, then beloved maw, resplendent in vestments of green, stands astride Sigmar's mighty river. Yes, it seems some form of time has come. And he lowers his head, looks at you.
Can you see death on the Reich?
Death is on the Reich, and I am concerned. There is a hand, a stained hand. Yes. And it guides the once mighty Lord. Yes. He raises up his hand. That hand is a power that lies behind the throne. Lo, the horned rat secures the broken king atop his throne of lies. And the white walls fall as the coach starts to move off. Leaving our empire in flames. Beware. Be sure. The end times are coming. And he falls silent. The other priest, on the other side, who sits beside you, looks from side to side, as if to say, what the? A bit random. And the one,
Lupo just nods as if he's
the one who's
expecting everyone
standing
to
beside him says, are you sure, Father? Yes, this is the one. I tell you, we're fighting. He says, we can't let this one go. As the one across the one that's beside you goes, oh, well, pleasure to meet you. He says, we'll get to know each other very well. And that's where we're going to leave it off. All of the players have hopefully given their special little secret through the course of this particular session. Did you spot it? Did they spot it? They're about to tell me and find out when we stop and then restart and do a quick filming for that second part. Now, between this week and next week, we're also going to be doing a quick Tales of Altdorf filming for each one of the PCs, where they're going to come in and do something in Altdorf, like, for example, try to run away from the cult of Sigmar, in one case, or alternatively for our bright wizard beside him, or not beside him anymore, elsewhere, go over and try to graduate and become a proper bright wizard rather than just a journeying apprentice, or perhaps someone who's interested in her family, or Gerhardt trying to secure maybe even his own papers, if he can.
Cash, apparently.
And the big one, I'm only going to say that, when you find out where Birdie's going, you might get a bit of a surprise. But it is going to involve probably a Temple of Sigmar, so it's going to be good, right? And of course, Princess Alamenowith, not on the Path of Shadows, definitely someone who doesn't lie, is going to be making her way down to the Aeonir Enclave to the south of Altdorf, down in the Amber Hills, there to, well, we'll see. So that will all be done in between. Our next session, session 3, will pick up after all that's done, and they're back on the barge, gathering all the information that they have gathered as we head off, hopefully down the Bergen, to pursue electric counts or perhaps inheritances. We shall soon see. But beyond that, thanks so much for watching, whether you're doing it live, whether you're doing it much later, wherever you happen to be. Do remember to press subscribe, press like, get that bell rung if you're on YouTube, because in the end, we are here ringing bells. You should ring a bell from behind you.
Join the Discord.
Yeah. Oh, do join us in Discord because we've lost it. Hey, ring the bell. Other than that, see you all later. Bye.
Bye.